Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Westman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are excited today.
Always.
We're jacked up because today it's a lady.
Oh,
it's a lady episode. So we always love the lady episodes. There's very few.
Yeah.
You don't fuck up as much, and there's not quite as many of you.
But boy, when you do.
But when you do, it's fun.
Yeah.
And this is a fun one
a
here.
Lot of times.
Oh, it's vicious. It's fun. Yeah, we've had some of our best episodes have been the females.
Vicious women.
Yeah, I've got Sally McNeil. That was one of the most vicious crimes we've had. So there's
Tanya
that.
Harding's no slouch either.
Tanya
She's
Harding,
vicious.
or
She just
also
doesn't kill.
Kelly Ryan.
Yeah.
Craig
God.
Titus's woman there. She was as brutal as they come.
Yeah, and then Kelly Lane.
Yeah,
Vicious,
to her own offspring there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but
she's trying to get out. She's nuts.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, the people are sending us articles.
Just sit still.
You calm down. At least till the end of your childbearing years, we're gonna keep you under lock and key with no access to sperm. Thank you. But anyway, but that said, we'll get to this episode because it is absolutely nuts. But thank you everybody for all of your reviews this week, your iTunes and otherwise. The purple icon, those Apple Podcast, iTunes reviews really go a long way to drive you up the chart. So if you have not done it yet, please do that. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say.
No.
Say you're following instructions, following directions, something. It's not for our egos, we promise. It really is just for business purposes, and it helps a lot. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's one.
That's where you can get all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs met there. You can have t-shirts and everything and tickets to live shows, which are flying off the shelves. So get your tickets now. We announced last week on Small Town Murder. These are all Small Town Murder live shows, but we announced last week Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh are all sold out already.
Yes.
And some of the other ones are moving fast. So really hurry the hell up over there.
Florida, get it in gear because we're coming soon.
Florida, Ohio, and California. Those dates really get your tickets now. San Diego, LA, Columbus, Cleveland, all the C cities, and we're coming everywhere, but not Cincinnati for some reason this time. Yeah, we'll be there next year. Don't worry, because we had a blast in Cincinnati. But get all your tickets there. Do everything like that. Also, you can be a hero of ours if you'd like over on our website. If you really want to be a fantastic human being, a producer, one of the people we gush about at the end of the show, about how much we love them and how much they mean to our lives, you can do that excessively easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or heading over to PayPal. You can make a one-time donation there if you want, using our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. You can also hit us up there if you want. Doing that. That said, good Lord, we have quite the volume of episode to get to
Terrific.
here. It's a lady.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's a lady. It is, I'm going to call, she's like a Todd Marinovich-ette.
Okay.
One of these things where you're like, oh no, she never had a chance. just a pawn of her parents. And this is, I kind of wanted to show from the other side, like we showed what happens with Todd Marinovich. And that's with football lets you, football, there's rules as far as you can't play at this level till you're this age, or you have to play. It's stupid, the NCAA rules, but you can't just go into the NFL at 15.
No.
Even if you're the greatest athlete that ever lived and you're 350 pounds, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to play in the NFL at 15. Whereas if you're, say, a tennis player, you can be pro. Well, now there's rules because of shit like this, but you could just be pro at any time.
Yeah.
They could pull you out of the womb, stick a racket in your hand, and be like,
"You're any good."
Hey, she's got sponsors, and they'll put you the fuck out there on television if Prince is willing to sponsor you for their rackets or whatever.
Venus and Serena were pretty young too when they started, right?
I believe so, but not like this. Okay. Not like Jennifer Capriati.
Oh,
we're going to talk about her.
Who she is?
Yeah, kind of everybody knows who she is, because she, especially if you're either American or Italian, also, because in Italy she was a fucking. She was well, she's American, but she was like the Beatles when she went there, because it's an athlete with an Italian last name. Right. And I don't know if you guys realize this.
She's kind of hot.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but there's not a lot of Italian athletes who are great nowadays.
That makes sense.
So
Ginobili, that's about it.
We just latch on to anything we can. I mean, back in the day, it was great. Yeah. We had DiMaggio, we had a few guys like that, Marciano. Well, Rocky Marciano. Yeah. Name me someone else who retired undefeated heavyweight champion.
It's hard to name you really
there isn't.
Italians
that's why.
At all.
Well, boxing, there was plenty in the mid century there. Basically, whatever group is downtrodden, those are the boxers. So in the 30s and 40s, and plenty of Italian boxers, and then they kind of got a little better off, and they were replaced with Spanish boxers. Yeah. That's how it works. And eventually they'll be replaced with, I don't know, whatever else comes next.
Ethiopians.
Just Kenyan boxers always, or I don't know, Sri Lankan boxer. Whoever decides to come here in mass next.
Bunch of Haitians.
That's all. Yeah. But that's the way it works. But otherwise, we don't have a lot of mainstream athletes, if you think about it. We have Dan Marino.
Is that guy Italian?
Yeah, Marino. Yeah, he's fucking. I think he's probably half Italian, but we'll take him. Yeah. That's what I mean. No, he's Italian though.
I know, but there's a lot of Spaniards.
Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh though. Okay. He's a Guinea from Pittsburgh. His dad's like a fat Guinea truck driver.
Great.
He's a I've seen him. He's a truck driver. He's Italian, but we don't have a lot. That's what I mean. Name a big time American quarterback sports hero who's a Guinea.
Can't do it.
It doesn't exist. That's what I mean. We don't get a lot. So when we get somebody like this, we'll latch on to her. We don't even like tennis. It doesn't matter. We'll take it. Jennifer Capriati, born March 29th, 1976. Yeah. And she is kind of the poster child for pushing your kid too hard, and for a child maybe not being ready to be on a national stage in a professional environment with millions of dollars at stake. That might be a little much for a 13-year-old, possibly. Yeah, it's even different. I feel like, because they say like, well, the kid actors, but acting is different. Yeah. You're on a set. Right. You're
busy.
It's different like if you're on Broadway or whatever, but if you're on an acting set, it's a contained thing though. There isn't like, you're not on television fucking up live where then people can criticize you. Like you can have 10 takes at something and you'll fuck up 9 times and no one will ever see those 9 fuck ups. You'll just look great on that 10th take. Whereas here it's, you mess up at Wimbledon when you're 14.
Everybody sees it.
Yeah.
It's on TV.
Remember when you were in 9th grade and anything happened to you, how magnified it felt?
Yeah.
Imagine if it happened on national TV and was on Sports Center repeatedly.
Worldwide.
Wimbledon
that's
not just in America,
everything.
everywhere. Yeah. That's the type of shit we're talking about here. She's born March 29th, 76, like we said. Her father, Stefano, hey, it's a Stefano here. Stefano's an Italian. He's born in Italy. He's a movie stuntman and soccer pro. So Stefano kicking the ball.
Really?
I kick the ball and it blow up under my foot. That's how I do it.
And he was a stuntman too?
I kick it and it explode. Yeah. See how you do it? You go to kick it and boom, it explode, and that's a stunt. See, I'm a stunt and a soccer. I mix together.
You guys are doing everything.
I make a young girl who play the tennis. She got the backhand, and I decided before she even come out, I say, this girl, she's going to play a tennis, and that's exactly what he did.
Really?
He decided, he said, I put a sperm in the side of you, and it's going to play tennis. I'm going to tell you that now. I tell you, it's a tennis. It's going to come out. It's going to play a backhand.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. No soccer. No, tennis. She's going to play. I feel it. I don't know. I put a racket in there, too. I not tell you.
Yeah.
I put sperm and racket. And I'll tell you, I got sperm, I got racket, I put inside. I say, here, you hold. It's little racket, I'm not big. I mean, you see, obviously.
It's a charm on the tennis bracelet.
If it's big, you feel. Right. I stick up there, I tell sperm, you carry this home. to the egg, and you implanted the tennis racket with you. And I know my sperm are very obedient.
And it worked.
I have obedient sperm, and they go in. So, her father, Stefano, and his wife was a Pan Am flight attendant.
No kidding.
Yeah, like she retires when she gets pregnant and married, because you're not back then.
Right,
I think it was
hot.
Well, back then I think you had to stop being a flight attendant back in I think they changed in the late 70s, but back then 32 years old or married.
Wow.
Meant you were gone.
Wow.
Out.
Single and young.
You had to be young.
Want.
They wanted them to be available.
Yeah.
They wanted them to date the fucking, hey,
really?
Maybe you'll hook up with one of these
Is that a
businessmen.
thing?
That's absolutely what they were doing.
I had no idea.
They were eye candy.
But
for
I knew
back then
that was a point, but I didn't know that was like the strategic value.
Oh, absolutely. They wanted them to be available to party with the passengers later if they wanted.
Isn't that called prostitution?
That is
porn?
called sort of a flying waitress. They didn't have to. Right. They weren't required to, but they were
certainly
they were hired. They were hired for looks and bubbly personalities. They wanted friendly, good-looking women who were, who would put their boobs in a businessman's face while he hands them a martini. That's what they were looking for. That was what it was about. So very weird. So that was Denise. So she was an attractive woman, from what everybody said. And Stefano, he played a soccer and he do the stunts. Obviously, he's a handsome man. Stefano here, though, he literally told his wife while she was pregnant with Jennifer. So that's a tennis player in there, and she's going to play tennis. So shockingly enough, when Jesus Christ, when Jennifer was a baby, this is shades of Marinovich here. When Jennifer was a baby, Stefano propped a pillow under her and helped her do sit-ups.
No kidding.
Sit-ups.
Wow.
As a baby.
Yeah.
Baby sit-ups.
Unbelievable.
This is Marinovich like when he was doing the stretching and all that shit.
No stretches.
No kidney gummies, though.
None.
She was never...
Where was that at? Stefano?
See, that's what I mean. I feel like this would have all worked out better if he would have just given her a kidney to chew on when she was teething. Like, poor little Marinovich.
That's so gross.
Maybe the grossest thing we've ever covered, including last week when a guy set a pregnant fucking woman on fire while she begged for her life. This is sort of grosser, the kidney thing.
Jamming a fucking beef kidney. It's gotta be a beef one, right?
Oh yeah, that's what they sell in stores. I don't know where else.
Hog, I guess you could get.
I guess, yeah, they sell parts, don't they?
They sell beef tongue. They sell hooves
all
and
sorts
shit.
of weird shit.
The tongue is bizarre. That's just so
creepy.
gross.
That's Italian people eat that shit.
Really?
Yeah, they make the tongue. It's disgusting. Yeah, no. They grow. My relatives are fucking barbarians. Some of these people.
Listen, white trash is no different.
Yeah, but it's just shit you'd never think to eat that they eat, because they're during like World War II when the Nazis were there and there wasn't anything to eat, they ate horrible things, and then they got fucking used to it after a while. And they were poor before the war, so things weren't like markedly worse. They were just a little worse. But like my grandmother will happily eat a big plate of chicken feet. Feet.
How do you do? I don't even.
They fry them.
Do that?
If like one of her relatives comes, if one of her brothers or sisters comes, they're all 90, by the way. That they'll have a big giant pile of chicken feet and eat the fuck out of that shit.
Are there bones in that, or is that just?
You're picking. It's just I won't eat the chicken feet because I was born in America. But I've had
beef liver, and that is fucking vile.
When she was a child, she's basically was a fifth world country at that point. So they ate chicken feet, and then she eats chicken feet.
Liver and onions was a thing my mom made.
Oh God!
And I'll never forget what that tastes like. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever had.
I still have that taste from 6 years old when my grandmother made that for me and told me it was steak and tried to trick me.
Lying bastards.
Lying motherfuckers. Her and my grandfather said, yeah, it's steak. And my grandfather had this grin on his face the whole time because he was like a wise ass. And I'm like, this motherfucker, what's he doing? And I take a bite and I one chew and I spit it out and I go, what is that? That is not steak. Oh my God. And then he starts laughing. He goes, it's
so
liver.
Slimy.
It was the most disgusting taste ever.
Word.
It tastes like when a dog has an ear infection. If you put that in a meat and
the smell, you mean?
The smell, what that smell with, no, but what that smell
right?
with, you can taste that shit in the air. It's so gross. You know what I mean? That smell and taste.
It's just dead animal. There's no, that's what the flavor is. It's the smell of dead animal.
Hey, I got
so bad.
See the smelly dead animal? I got the part where all the poisons and shit and gross stuff that the rest of the smelly, disgusting beast couldn't process. You want to just eat that? Yeah, everything where that is. Let's eat that.
Organ.
That sounds perfect. Yeah. So Stefano put his, I love it. It's a Stefano. Yeah. Stefano put her first racket in her hand at age 3.
No kidding.
Here you go, kid. Yeah. So you can stand and walk, fucking swing this shit around. So a lot of like broken knickknacks later as this kid went around the house destroying everything.
Anything that'll bounce off it will bounce off it. But at 3, now this is in Spain. She's born in New York. She's born in New York City, but they live in Spain for the first 4 years she's alive. Okay. So she first 4 years and baby sit-ups and holding the rackets happening in Spain. Okay. Kidney gummy, all that in Spain. And then she's 4 years old, the family moves to Florida. What? Why do they move to Florida? Not for a job. Training?
This is to pursue her tennis career.
Really?
She is 4 years old.
They moved across the world.
4.
At 4.
An ocean. Yeah. They crossed it and moved to Florida, which, let's be honest here, Spain to Florida is not a lateral move. No. That is a fucking step down. Sorry, Florida, but go to Spain. Look at the beaches in Spain and then look at fucking Fort Lauderdale and then tell me they're the same thing. Shut up.
What kind of talent must you reflect?
By the way, buy your tickets for Orlando and Tampa.
There. Yeah.
So, sorry.
Clearwater's got a nice beach.
It's great.
What kind of talent must you reflect at age 3 for your parents to go, that's it, we're moving?
And at 3, you can barely swing the racket. Right. What's the difference between talent and I think she hit one? Like, oh, good look, she got one. Like, I don't understand what the difference is at 3.
I guess she did that for an entire year, and they were like, I'm convinced that's talent.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, the only time I couldn't see any talent in a sport that young, unless it was like billiards. They picked up a pool cue and cleared the table at fucking stood on a box and cleared the table at 3.
That's the only way you've got.
Oh shit, that's pretty good.
To move a world away
to pursue her tennis career. So this is very much like Marinovich here. From 1981, we're talking the age of 5, before she turns 5 and then 5, she trains with Chris Everett's father. Okay. Chris Everett, if you don't know, is a very, very famous, one of the greatest female tennis players of all time. Her father, Jimmy Everett, who I assume was like an American Stefano at that point, that's who she trains with.
Chris Everett's dad's name is Jim Everett?
Jim Everett, yeah.
And Jim Everett was called Chris Everett by Jim Rome, sparking
which is hilarious,
whether you believe it or not, a fight.
Whatever the fuck that
was. That is hilarious that her dad's name is Jim Everett.
So you're calling me her dad. And Jim Everett's, Chris Everett's dad, Jim, must have been sitting there going, what's the fucking
problem?
Yeah, it's a problem here.
I'd be glad to be called my daughter's name. Calm down.
And I'm sorry. Yeah. Jim Everett would be lucky to be half as good an athlete as Chris Everett. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Chris Everett, much more successful than Jim Everett. I'll say that.
It's very true.
He should have said, you know what? Thanks.
You're right. She dominates.
She fucking wins Grand Slams and shit.
I don't have any rings.
I have like one playoff win under my belt. It was for a bad pass interference call over the Giants. Yeah, that's right. I said it was bad. It wasn't pass interference.
Fuck you, Jim.
Yeah. Fuck you, you flat top douchebag. So anyway, so she trains with him, and then from 1985 to 1988, she trains with Rick Maki. He's a big tennis coach. This guy, later on, it comes up, he's got a whole bunch of shit later on. He gets like a divorce and there's like some criminal shit.
Machi?
But it's not about tennis. It's all stuff with his wife and then
financial
30 years later, all sorts of weird shit going on. But at this point, he's a huge tennis coach, 7-time coach of the year. Wow. National whatever tennis coach of the year, 7 times.
I guess that exists. I just didn't know.
I had no idea. You see, this is what I mean. This is another part. We were talking about cultures we know nothing about before the show started. Yeah. And this is one of those cultures. We don't know shit about tennis, number one. Okay.
I know how to score it, and that's it.
Yeah, I know how to, I can go play a little bit or whatever, but not well. I never had a lesson or anything. I'm not a fucking... I don't come from a family where they're like, let's get him tennis lessons. No.
I had to play it in school, and I can bounce a ball back and forth across the net. But if somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing on the other side of the net,
amazing.
Why am I even doing this?
It's silly, yeah.
I'll look like an idiot.
I'm good at ping pong, though, so I feel like it's relatable. I
can't even play that.
I'm really good at ping pong.
Really?
I'm fucking amazing at it. I'm ridiculous at ping. Like, seriously, I make people depressed and they don't want to play anymore.
I can't even hit the fucking ball.
there was a ping pong table. Josh had a friend of mine, and he had this ping pong table, and him and his friends would play. And after like a week, they just stopped playing.
Yeah,
because it wasn't even fun anymore. I just would fuck people up. I'm ridiculous at ping pong. It's silly. I'm like Forrest Gump, dude.
You've got to be able to make money with that, right?
I can fucking. I don't know. It's a weird talent. I didn't even know I had it. When I played it, I'm unreal at it. Backhands. I fucking at the tip of the corner. I'm insane at it. I'm really good with angles of things and like geometric shit on the fly like that. Like in basketball, I'm good at like passing and finding lanes and stuff. It's like one of those things. Like I don't know what it is. Like,
I just don't know how you hit the fucking ball.
I can see it. If I hit it just like this, it'll spin right there. And I don't know what it is, man. I have a weird vision for it.
I can't do it because I can't.
Totally useless talent.
I can't get the little fucking paddle on the ball, and then B, when I do hit it, I don't know how to close that gate. So it just
crank it over.
I just fucking hit it, and it goes forever away, and then I lose.
What you want to do? Oh, see, that's
I'm terrible at it.
Man, I gotta teach you. I gotta teach you. Man.
I can hit home runs with them.
Bang!
That's all I got.
Boom! This fucking paddle works well. Did you see that thing? Pow!
I've broken those goddamn balls.
That's amazing.
But I can't do it strategically.
You gotta get the spin. It's all about spin.
Fuck out of it.
Fucking spin, bitches. So Capriati's hitting the fuck out of it, but on a real court, not a table.
Right.
In a room against people who are not athletes.
And she's young.
She's super young. By 12, she is just fucking people up.
Sure.
I mean, girls her age stand no chance. Right. Girls older than her, she's beaten. She looks like a pro at 12 already, and just schooling everybody.
She's been doing it for 3/4 of her life.
Yeah, she moved to Florida to do it.
Right.
In 1989, she is just, oh my God, she's killing it here. She has different coaches too. She has a guy named Gullickson is one of her coaches here for a while, and he's won a lot of doubles titles with his brother, and he coached Pete Sampras until he later on coached Pete Sampras until this coach ended up dying.
Okay.
So I mean, he's got Pete Sampras. He's a good coach. We'll just say.
Considered super handsome.
Yeah. So who? Pete Sampras? Pete Sampras?
Yeah. Pete Hansen.
Pete handsomeness. No, but he's a good athlete though.
Yeah,
so
he's great.
People get that.
His head is fucking weird.
He's got a weird head. Yeah, I will say he does have a weird head.
That weird, like it's like a Jew fro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a little fro going on.
It's a very strange haircut. And
he looks like he's got the hair of one of my cousins. Basically, looks like he's got like wavy guinea hair.
Is that not an Italian guy? Sampras? What was he?
I don't think so.
Or something?
He's probably Greek, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
I don't know.
Probably.
He was super hairy.
He's Mediterranean.
Yeah.
He's something same shit.
Super
it's all
hairy
same.
dude.
Just we have better food. That's all.
Very weird looking man that everybody fawned over.
That's strange. I think it's just because he's successful.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, when you're that successful, I mean, people probably thought Peyton Manning was attractive. You know what I mean? Somebody must have swooned, and he looks like Frankenstein. So I'm looking for the bolts in his neck every time he does commentary. It's a different story.
Weird forehead.
Fucking weird everything. Weird head shape.
Yeah. I'm just weirded out
like
by
a cylinder.
By the way it changes colors when he plays football.
Oh, that helmet
strange.
Pressed against that forehead just turns it a deep shade of crimson that lasts for hours.
Yeah.
It's all indented.
He took a shower and he's in dress clothes and he's sitting at a mic for a press conference and there it is.
I feel like every Monday.
Circle on his forehead.
I feel like every Monday or like Tuesday, if there's a Monday game, he has to go into a special guy who's like a skull reshaper that has to reshape it back into its normal forehead so he can go do Campbell's soup commercials and horse shit like that. Yeah. That's what he was doing his whole career. Get him out. We're shooting a fucking State Farm commercial in an hour. We can't have this guy with a dented forehead.
Can we get that round circle off Peyton's fucking face?
How are we going to explain this? We're going to have to say we paid a claim on that. Something had to have happened. That's clearly an accident.
Junkie Soup Rep wanders through. Don't worry. We have Drew Brees who has shit on his face.
Well, he's got shit on his face, so we'll just shoot Peyton from the eyebrows down, and everything will be fine. It'll be real intense, like he's staring at the soup. It'll be good. Drew Brees, real tight on his real
tight on that left side.
Shit, okay.
Left side.
Get his mouth. Oop, no, you're getting some cheek in there. He says, Drew, can you stop moving? Is that possible? How are we going to know who he is if we can't see his face? We'll tell them it's Drew Brees. It doesn't matter.
Just shoot the jersey only.
Shoot him from the back with his jersey and the back of his head, and we'll just see the spoon coming up sort of from this. We'll get the picture. Don't worry about it.
They'll understand what
he'll be like, this is good junky soup, he'll say, and then we'll know. Same with Peyton, and we'll see which one's better.
Can we put in the script that Drew says, I didn't want to show you my shit face?
Sorry. Jesus Christ.
I've been bullied about it my whole life.
My damn shit face. So her father, Stefano, he wants her to turn pro. At 12.
Yeah.
He's like, she could be making money.
Right.
I want her to turn pro.
I got 12 years invested in this. I need a return.
Come on, man. You know how expensive these lessons are? Right. She's not making money with these kiddie tournaments.
You know what it costs to move across the fucking planet?
Yeah, no shit. So he lobbies and pressures the Women's Tennis Council to exempt Jennifer from the rule they have that bars girls under 14 from competing in their deal.
Now, wait 2 years?
No, and that's the thing. 14 even seems pretty young.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of young. I can't imagine a kid playing right field that's 14 years old.
Yeah.
Or picture any pro sport a team sport where a kid is 14 out there, and you're like, that might be a little young. They're gonna someone's gonna push him around.
We suspended disbelief for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. This is basically what we're doing here. Is that she was struck by a lightning or fell out of a fucking tree, and
she
now
broke her arm, and now she's got lightning quick backhand.
A rocket backhand that comes out at 200 miles an hour. It's fucking puts flaming holes in people's rackets. They don't know how to stop her. That's how it works. So she is the World Tennis, he tells people, he says, quote, they made the age rule. Well, they made it the age rule, he said. They made it the age rule because of the burnout. He says from just two players, Tracy Austin and Andrea Jaeger. He said, but they don't know Jennifer. She's a very happy girl. She gets to the straight A's in the school, and she's a very healthy. She just wants to improve her tennis. That's what he says.
Okay.
She gets straight A's in school, and she's very healthy. You don't understand. I'm healthy as a horse. I've been feeding her a kidney to chew on since she's 1 year old. She's so healthy.
So much B12. Why would you include that in there?
She's a very healthy. Right. Maybe that she's not crazy. Yeah. He means it like that, because you got to understand he's translating. Yeah. Anytime you look at that, like
culture gap.
He thinks in Italian and then has to change that into English as he talks. So, he might say she's very sane or she's very stable, and he comes out, she's a very healthy, and it makes her sound like an animal. She's got a good cradle.
Right.
She's got a nice undercarriage.
She's got her on all fours.
She's going to be nice.
Telling the board that she's good.
If you lift up her tail, her anal glands produce a very, very nice poop. I tell you right now. It's a very nice.
Expressing her glands.
It's you can express it. Go ahead. Right here in front of everybody. She's used to it. It's okay.
It will show you how
Go ahead and express my little girl's glands. I'll show you.
This is so gross. Good Lord.
Oh, God, Stefano. He
couldn't be more Italian if his name was Giuseppe.
It's Stefano Capriati. Huh? I wait for shit like this because I make fun of everybody else, and now I get to make fun of my own people. It's nice. So, So she just wants to improve her tennis. You know what I mean? So, she plays in 1989. She plays in some girls, under, not adult league. She played girls, Grand Slam girls singles finals here, where she wins the girls French Open and the girls U.S. Open, beating the shit out of people in straight sets because they're under fucking 14. So she's going to crush those girls. And then she goes on to the doubles that year, same thing. She crushes in that and wins both of those also with her partner Meredith McGrath, who I haven't heard of since, but I'm not a big tennis player. I assume she wasn't as good as Capriati, probably.
You got it, yeah.
I'm going to say, because I know who she is and I know shit about tennis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now, Jesus Christ. At first, they thought it was cool. Yeah. The whole family thought it was cool, like, to go over there. They went to France, for Christ's sake, to fucking play tennis.
It's exciting.
It's neat. She's got a younger brother also. Mm-hmm. So it was a few years younger than her, so he gets to kind of tag, we'll talk about him. Steven is his name. It's a Stefano. It's a Steven. He's the Italian junior. Yep. Yeah, poor guy. So they all went over there. Everybody was jacked about everything. And she was very obviously naive and didn't know. She's not used to international travel at 12 to 13 years old.
She's only done it once.
As most 7th graders aren't used to going on a world tour where people take pictures of you and interview you and shit like that. It's super weird. She told the newspaper there when she was in Paris in 1990 that she was surprised that Notre Dame was a cathedral because she just thought it was the college with the football team with the gold helmets, and that's what Notre Dame was. She's like, no, they named it Notre Dame too?
It's going to blow her mind when she finds out about the Hunchback.
Yeah, yeah, she's like, well, this is pre-Disney cartoon Hunchback in Notre Dame, though. Like 4 or 5 more years, she would have went, oh my God.
I get it now.
When the movie came out, she was like, there's one this is about the one in France. This isn't about the football team. You know that, right? Like, I know things. I'm
very I'm cultured as
fuck. I'm traveled and cultured. You have no idea. So, 1990 here, is when she, begins to kind of really come into her own. It's the year she turns pro and all that sort of thing. She plays, in her professional debut, I guess you'd call it, is at a Virginia Slims tournament in Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah. Which tells you right there she's too young, because it's sponsored by a cigarette for older ladies, like 48-year-old ladies.
They're aiming at the right people, though, in Boca.
Oh yeah. That's who else is going to sponsor it? I don't know. Is there like a liver spot cream remover,
sunblock?
Yeah, some kind of sunblock.
The copper tone open.
Yeah. So she wins her first match here, and people go fucking bonkers because she's 13 years old, and they go absolutely batshit crazy, like paparazzi swarm her. They don't care about anybody else in the tournament. All they care about is this 13-year-old girl who just won a professional match. And how pissed is the girl she beat? I just got beat by a fucking 8th grader. Literally an 8th grader just beat me. Like, this is wrong.
I just lost to somebody with posters of a pop star on their walls.
She needs to send a note somewhere to explain why she's not in science class right now, and instead is beating the shit out of me in another country while surprised that Notre Dame is a church. Then she blew her brains out. Jesus Christ, man. She said to the media, quote, "I'm excited about my match, but I think the media is kind of a little out of control," is what she said, because she was kind of...
Well, she clearly doesn't get it. She doesn't realize how rare this is that she's doing this.
She's like, this is a bit much. And then 2 weeks later, it gets worse as she appears on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Really?
At 13 years old.
Is that the youngest?
I don't know about that, but she's for a pro probably. I mean, they probably have shown high school athletes or something, but a pro athlete.
I'm sure that there's been an athlete with their baby on the cover.
Yeah, I mean, she is in the middle of, playing in the tournament. The picture of her is like an action shot, and it says on the cover, and she's only 13, and it says Jennifer Capriati reaches the finals of her first pro tournament, which is pretty fucking amazing, honestly. There she ends up, she's a runner-up in that tournament. Then she goes on to a tournament in Hilton Head, and it's on
Carolina.
It's on clay. This one, the first one was on a hard surface. This one's on clay, and she plays Martina Navratilova.
No kidding.
Who is
she's the pinnacle.
She's
the greatest.
Yeah, she's the legend. Right. I mean, and a legend. She's been around for
fucking
15 years, and she's a tough broad, that Martina Navratilova.
You think she's like a real tough lesbian or something?
Yeah, almost. No, Martina's she's a tough, an athlete and a kick-ass competitor, and someone you'd be frightened of to play if you're 13 years old, because she looks like she means business, because she does.
I watched a lot of tennis around this time, and I don't think I've ever seen Martina Navratilova smile.
No, not on the court. She has a thing. Yeah. Plus she's Eastern European, so to get a smile out of her anyway. She grew up behind the red curtain, so she's like,
a lot of smiles in that bank for her to be sharing.
You want her to smile? You're like, wasn't that funny, Martina? She's like, when I was little girl, I had to wipe ass with burlap that we took potatoes from town into home. And you'd be like, so not funny?
So not entertaining at all?
Okay. You're good at tennis. I know. I have to play tennis to get away from the burlap butt wipings, because butthole too raw to make it one more day.
This is escape.
This is escape. I play for the Charmin.
Unbelievable.
I play only for the 2-ply mega roll Charmin. Extra soft. To make up for a scratchy butthole childhood. So... Yeah, Martina beats her.
All those little toilet paper rolls that are left in her after a wipe. She just smiles. She's like, at least I have those.
It feels so good. It's so much better.
At least they're there.
It's so much better. Sometimes we have to use steel wool. Much worse. Much worse. Sometimes burlap, we run out.
Dry.
We cannot afford potato.
Or water.
Or water. Dry wiping with some steel wool.
Oh, Jesus.
So Martina Navratilova beats her ass in 2 straight sets.
Yeah,
but
she's great.
She's great, and this kid's a child, and whatever. But still, she didn't shut her out. It was 2-6, 4-6.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, she
not bad.
Fucking she held her own at least. And then she goes on to another tournament here in Puerto Rico where she wins the damn tournament.
Wow.
There as a child and becomes her first tournament win, which is crazy. She plays in the Federation Cup deal here. The Federation Cup is another, kind of a, it's like these teams of different countries and all this sort of shit. I think it's like the Ryder Cup in golf.
I almost asked that. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's sort of what it is. She plays in Atlanta there, and the U.S. ends up winning over the Soviet Union in the finals, which there was barely still a Soviet Union. For like one more year, there'd be a Soviet Union. So by 92 Olympics, it's done. It's done, and there's the Union is the one. We'll talk about that.
It's all kinds of different countries.
Yeah, they just mix. It's just all the federate states without Russia. All the Russian states. So in 1990, she makes her pro French Open debut and reaches the semifinals at age 14.
Really?
So that's a great 14 years old and 70 days.
Incredible.
She becomes following the tournament, she busts into the top 10 rankings in the world and becomes the youngest player ever to break into the top 10 world rankings.
Holy shit.
So she's a fucking phenom.
What kind of money does that make, do you think?
At 14, she got a $5 million endorsement contract with Oil of Olay.
Wow.
And the TV commercial said, quote, "for younger looking skin."
To make you look like you're 14?
To make you look, you look like me if you use Oil of Olay, a 14-year-old Italian athlete.
How dumb do they think women are?
I will say this, okay, not to whatever, but the only thing I would say Italians have good, we have a few things, but one thing that's good for us is we tend to look a little younger a lot sometimes in the face.
The olive oil really
it helps.
Maintains it.
Yeah, I look a few years younger than my age. My dad looks younger, my mom. It works out for us like that. So this is a 14-year-old Italian athlete too. She comes from like good stock with
she looks like she's
nice
8.
looking parents. So she does not look like, if you're 50, you're not ever going to look like a 14-year-old Italian athlete. It's not going to happen.
Unbelievable.
So she also got racket contracts, clothing contracts, millions and millions and millions of fucking dollars is what we're talking here.
To be in the top 10.
At 14 years old. She got all of this.
Oh, it should be a wrap. Like her future is set.
Doing great, right? She should be ready to go. By 23, she should be retired.
And what did you do?
Stefano. Is this enough for Stefano?
Oh, boy.
Stefano said, we needed a bigger house.
Yeah.
See. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about, you would barely even have to pay us to talk about this.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Indochino.
Indochino.com.
Indochino's awesome.
Yeah.
If you need to go, it's so amazing.
It's the nicest shirt I own.
It's the nicest shirt you own. Plus, it's the experience of getting the shirt. You're not going to get some shirt that isn't going to fit you right. It's going to fit you perfect. Why, Jimmy?
Because they size you there.
They size you. It's amazing. And you get to feel what it's like to own a shirt that's made for you.
Right.
It's incredible. And you'll love the wide selection, high quality fabrics and colors. There was so much to choose from Indochino. It's not like
every option you're blown away.
It's not like they're like, all right, tell you what, we're gonna suit you, we're gonna fit you up here, and we got 3 designs. Right. We got the Hawaiian, we got a plain, and
There's stripes.
We got a stripy one. Have that. No, it's not like that at all. It's a million different things. It's so awesome. Now you can the options to personalize everything, the details. Mm-hmm. You can personalize your lapel, your lining, pockets, your buttons. You can personalize. That's how awesome this is. The process is easy. Just visit a stylist at one of their 40 showrooms in North America. Have them take your measurements or do it yourself at home. Measure yourself up and shop online at Indochino.com. Submit your measurements and get your clothes and design them. And you just kick back and let your stuff get tailored and sent to you. And this week, our listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $3 $379 at Indochino.com when entering CIS at checkout. That's 50% off the regular price of a made-to-measure premium suit. A custom, tailored, beautiful suit for you. The shipping is free. Again, Indochino.com, promo code CIS for any premium suit for just $379 and free shipping. You can't beat it. It's an incredible deal for a premium made-to-measure suit. Once you go custom, you won't go back.
And now back to the show.
So, she did all this type of shit. She's, by the way, in France, I forgot to mention that, she said with press around, they took her to the Napoleon's tomb, and she said, that's that little dead dude, which I thought was hilarious. Which is fucking funny as shit.
He's the same size as you.
A little dead dude, right? Yeah, it's about the same size. So, this 1990, though, she reaches the semifinals of the French Open. She goes to the fourth round of Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. So not too bad.
Unbelievable.
She's the youngest player to reach a professional final in 1990. Debuts at number 25 on the rankings when she comes in and then breaks the top 10. Youngest ever semifinalist in the French Open. Youngest ever seed at Wimbledon. She won her first singles title in Puerto Rico, like we said, and finishes the 1990 season ranked at number 8.
Incredible.
And is the youngest player also to finish a season in the top 10. So she's the youngest to do everything, basically. She's a phenom.
She's the shit.
Nothing can go wrong, right? I mean, we've heard... Okay, I know there's been 162 Crime in Sports episodes, and something always goes wrong.
Right.
But maybe this is just a good story about a successful young lady who feels good and everything's working out. Maybe we're just going to tell you a feel-good story, right? Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. So she makes from tennis, her earnings are $283,587 from actually playing, which is not bad for 14 years old. That is
best paying job I've ever heard of for a 14-year-old.
Not too shabby. Yeah, like
apart from acting.
Yeah, apart from acting, like regular, you're not even allowed to work at 14. No. Like you have to get like a special permit and shit in states to work. But like at 16, you're making minimum wage at Dairy Queen.
Right.
It's not $283,000. This is 14th in the world in tennis earnings for women.
Oh,
so
shit.
She's the 14th highest, earning tennis woman in the world at 14 years old.
Go back to school when this is done.
She's got literally 8th grade to finish. This is insanity. This is fucking nuts.
How do you sit down in a class and a teacher making $36,000 a year is telling you stay in school? Are you shitting me? I made 8 times your salary yesterday.
Bitch, unless you got something to say about my backhand, I don't think I'm going to fucking listen to you.
And just toss her oil of Olay bottle.
Yeah, here, look younger. Well, younger looking skin. Here you go, lady. Knock yourself out. Wow. So 1991, January of 1991, she is on Forbes magazine list of 40 highest paid athletes. So top 40.
It's incredible.
Highest paid athletes. And I guess this includes endorsements or whatever here. But I could tell you the top 10 here if you're interested.
Oh, I can't wait.
1991, or this I guess is for 1990. Evander Holyfield, $60.5 million.
Hold on. She is in the top
40 highest paid athletes
of everything.
Forbes magazine.
Including Evander fucking Holyfield.
Yeah, top 40. She's in this. We're talking Holyfield made $60.5 million that year.
Wow.
Mike Tyson, $31.5 million that year. Michael Jordan, $16 million that year.
From basketball.
Right. And shit. George Foreman, 14.5. An auto racer in Brazil, Senna, Ayrton Senna, $13 million. Another auto racer from France made 11. Razor Ruddock. Remember Razor? He's a bad motherfucker. Great nickname. Boxer. He $10.2 million. Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
The golfer and
Golden Bear.
Drink.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Or was that Jack Nicklaus?
That's Jack Nicklaus.
Arnold Palmer's just a lemonade iced tea guy.
Yeah.
He made 9.3. And then another racer from the UK made $9 million, and Sugar Ray Leonard made $8.5. So the top 10 is all, except for Michael Jordan, it's all boxers and car racers.
And they're all historical.
Arnold Palmer. Yeah,
they're the best of the best of anybody that ever played what they play.
Yeah, and from that era too. It's like there's a lot of legendary people here. Now, 1991, she wins a tournament in Canada, up in Toronto there. I don't know how important that was. She goes over to Birmingham in the UK for the Federation or Fed Cup finals there, and they win. They beat Spain in the finals there. So she's cruising right along here. Also in 91, she has a tournament in San Diego where she beats Monica Seles and wins the tournament there, which is a pretty big fucking deal.
Incredible.
I mean, Monica Seles was on her come up at that point, but still. And then there's a tournament in Toronto where she wins again, and then she comes in runner up in a tournament in Philly where Monica Seles beats her in the final. Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty decent.
Pretty great.
You're talking about, Monica Seles, another person who, if you don't know shit about tennis, you still know who she was. She's the chick who got stabbed. So she is. That's the best way to describe it. But in the Grand Slam, she went to the fourth round of the French Open, semifinals in Wimbledon, semifinals in U.S. Open. So she did very well here. September 1st, 1991, there is a book... There's a book out released by Sports Illustrated Kids for libraries of schools and shit called Jennifer Capriati.
Wow.
So it's 58 pages long.
That's her life story at this point.
She's fucking 14.
Right.
That's like 4 pages per year. She did nothing at 6 that's worthy of 4 pages of print. I'm sorry. Nobody at 7's ever done anything worth 4 pages of print. Nobody. Nothing you do is worthy of that shit. Are you kidding me? But there's a fucking book out about this person.
Incredible.
How many 14-year-olds have books written about them then? Pre-social media and shit like that.
Yeah, nobody. Unless it's like...
It's so rare.
Like the child called It. I read that book.
A royal child, maybe, if it's like, one of those. I'm sure they all have books written about them the second they take their first royal shit.
Yeah. It's rarely a feel-good story. It's usually like a tragic story of how this kid died.
Yeah, some death from some weird genetic illness because they're all inbred or some weird royal
beat
horse
the
shit.
Fuck out of them for 14 years.
Something like that. Yes, but instead, this is a happy book for children.
Incredible.
It says it's for ages 8 and up.
Yeah.
So I guess that'd be
big letters.
Reading age. So she wins. She partners up with Monica Seles to win a doubles tournament in Rome in 1991. Also,
so they became friends.
I guess so. They had to respect each other. Gotcha. Won, lose one. Hey, that person's
now we work together.
Game, respect, game, motherfucker. You know what I mean? So 1991, she like I said, semifinals in the U.S. Open. That's in New York. That's kind of a big deal here. She was. It's weird, man. She would do. She was so fucking into, at this point, tennis. It's her whole life. Right. When she loses the match finally in the U.S. Open, she kind of had a little meltdown and ran off the court crying with mascara running down her cheeks and shit.
She's a child.
Because, she's a child. Right. And that happens. And she's, she's basically, at this point, she's 15.
Right.
So she's a sophomore. Yeah. And as we've brought up sophomores many times, there's many things that sophomores are good for and not good for. Handling pressure on a national stage, probably one of the things they're not the best at.
Crying, though? Really
good at crying.
Fucking
sophomores.
excel.
High school sophomores are excellent at it.
They just got their period and life is a nightmare.
Yeah, and as she's leaving, someone in the media asked her if she choked. Like, she just lost a match in what are you kidding me?
I'm 15.
You can't choke at that age. I'm here. That's no.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Am I here and what do you do?
Did I hit the ball with the racket? Then I didn't choke. That's pretty impressive.
Right.
What are your fucking shitty kids doing? Nothing, I bet. Not fighting for a U.S. Open finals berth, I bet you. So, she sobbed, though, and ran out under the stadium.
Did your child just beat me out there? Well, then shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Exactly. Jesus Christ. She got led away by Mayor David Dinkins of New York there.
Really?
Yeah, that's who led her off to court because she just kind of stood there for a second and nobody was around. Mm-hmm. And so she just didn't know where to go or what to do. So the mayor was like, let me help this kid and get her off the fucking court.
She also isn't used to losing, so she probably didn't know how to leave.
Yeah. One of the players there said, quote, she was never the same. I saw an unhappy person after that.
Really?
This kind of, everybody kind of takes this as the turning point of when she didn't like tennis anymore, where she didn't appear to be having fun anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was about this particular match or what, if there was something behind the scenes before it or after it or what happened, but this whole thing, everybody says her attitude and her light for the whole thing seemed to have been extinguished.
Well, she's been winning consistently the whole time, and now she's lost to Seles. which kind of
this wasn't even Celis,
right? But that puts a bug in your head already that you can lose at this, and now this is another loss on a much bigger scale.
She's just she's real upset here. Yeah, she's upset, and she it fucking happens. So but I mean, it's pretty good. She reached these semifinals at Wimbledon, for Christ's sake, and everything. She was earning over $7 million a year in endorsements alone. Wow. She's being pretty good here. Her father, though, is being criticized by all sides for a lot of people are criticizing him for pushing his daughter too far into this and everything like that. And he was really criticized by a tennis writer. Those exist.
What?
People who all they do is write about tennis.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds like it's quite the existence.
Ugh.
That's a way to, wow, that just sounds...
Yeesh. I mean, I get there's people that are into it.
That
watch
that's
it,
their whole
but
job.
To just watch and
how much of an audience is reading about tennis?
Oh, it's got to be 12 people.
What's your I mean, I get tennis. I understand tennis is a popular worldwide sport, but I've seen the U.S. Open. There isn't 100,000 people there.
No, it's not soccer.
It's not the fucking NCAA final game. It's not any of that shit.
No.
So I don't know how many people are reading about tennis, or that. I could see watching it, but I got to know.
I've accidentally seen Wimbledon on TV and was like, "Oh, I should sit and watch this. This is kind of cool."
Yeah.
But I've never ever checked when the list when does that come on?
No, exactly.
I don't even know.
I think tennis to me is the highlights are really entertaining because you just see they break a 2-hour or 2.5 hour match down to just a few smashes and somebody going at it and ball getting right in on the line or
that scream, just the volley back and forth and each girl just screaming like she just broke a leg every time she hits the fucking ball.
That's my favorite part. It'd be funny if guys did that. Motherfucker! Every time they hit it. Cocksucker! Cunt! Every fucking time they swung at it.
I wish one would just scream cunt every time. Because you wouldn't know.
No.
You wouldn't have any.
Because it would fit in with the ball. Like the poof in the cunt. You'd never you hear that? It was right in there. I just want one guy to be like, rah! Every time. Rah! Like those nutcases on the Christian network that work out too much and look like they're going to tear their pectoral muscles on camera.
It's amazing.
So Stefano's criticized by a tennis writer, and Stefano in response says, quote, and this is great fucking quote here, this can only be done in an Italian accent. He says, look, I love my daughter more than you know, but where I come from, we have a proverb, when the apple is ripe, eat it. That's what he says. He just called his daughter a ripe fruit.
Yeah.
When the apple is ripe, eat it. In other words, this is when the money's coming, so this is when we're fucking making it.
What he should have said was, hey, tennis writer, write about tennis, motherfucker. Yeah. I don't even play tennis.
I love my daughter more than you know, but where I come, it's like, I love my daughter more than you know, but if this isn't right for her, her best interests are the only thing I care about, and money is secondary, and maybe if she wants to stop playing and continue after school, that's great. No. When the apple is ripe, eat it. This bitch is playing tennis, so shut up.
Very ripe apple.
She's about this close to mushy, so let's get her going, boy. Let's start slicing her up and make that pie because I am hungry. So she finishes this season, 91, ranked number 6 in the world. 6.
Unbelievable.
Fucking 6. She makes $535,617. She's making the tennis. She's making the tennis. Making tennis, as I just said. Playing tennis, which is 9th for women in the world here.
You just did the Italian making fuck.
She makes the fuck, It's my favorite part of the movie, Clerks. When the Russian guy is, how would you like some making fuck? And he says, the girl there, whoever that is, some female. She goes, did he just say making fuck? That's in that Jersey accent. It's the fucking funniest line. Did he just say making fuck?
That was the Berserker, right?
Yeah. Would you like some making fuck, Berserker? Okay. That's wonderful. This is the Capriati. She's making the tennis. That's what she do. So 92 here, 1992, July 25th through August 9th, 1992 is the Barcelona Summer Olympics. Yeah. This is the dream team. Mm-hmm. This is Jordan and Barkley and Magic Johnson.
She played in that?
She was in those Olympics, yeah.
I mean, she wasn't on that team.
No, she was not. She played backup point guard, actually. She was right. Her was John Stockton and Isaiah Thomas, and then she was behind them. And it was Capriati. They bumped her last minute for Christian Laettner. They were like, we need a college player. We had Capriati. We hear she's a good. Her father says that the fruits are ripe, so we're going to put her in, but I don't know. So July 25th, this is the big Olympics. So anything that happened in that Olympics, unless it was the U.S. team, beating other countries by 85 points, it really wasn't covered by anybody because it was just the most ridiculous thing anybody had ever seen.
It was every Hall of Fame player ever that was still alive.
It was Larry Bird
and Christian Laettner.
And Christian, one college guy. We'll throw him in there. It was ridiculous. It would be like if when they did the pole vault, one guy did 30 feet, and another guy did 180 feet, and they were like, "Yeah, that's the difference." And it's like, well, how the fuck did that happen? That's what it was ridiculous. So during these games here, this was in Barcelona, like we said. Now, by the way, we've had questions about there's summer one year and then winter, and then there's summer every 4 years and 2 years, and did they alternate? Or remember,
it's every 4 years and they're 2 years apart. So
yeah, we didn't know when that started because there was other Olympics that they didn't do that. They just did them. So in '94 they decided to hold games in alternating even numbered years. So then it was '92 ended up being that was the last time the winter and summer games were in the same year.
Really?
It was '92.
Okay.
Because that's what they used to have, the winter and the summer and the summer the same year every 4 years, and then they staggered them after that.
Probably because the summer games that year just demolished them in ratings, and they're like, we've got to do something else.
Well, you're wiped on Olympic shit by the end of the summer. How are you going to do the winter? So,
good point.
Yeah, this was the first games that nobody boycotted since 1972.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the wall fell, so the whole
How about that?
communist thing was gone, so nobody boycotted because there's no Soviet states here. The unified team won 45 gold medals. That's the team consisting of all the fucking Soviet republics together, all that shit, except for Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, who decided to do their own fucking thing.
Okay.
Like, we don't need this shit here. So this is the only Olympic appearance of the unified team, by the way.
Really?
After that, they all broke into little countries and fought each other ravenously, I'm sure, in small conflicts. So in this, she goes all the way through. She beats Anka Huber of Germany in the first round. She beats Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, who I've heard on ESPN a million times, from Spain in the second round here, and then goes to the finals against Steffi Graf, who is a very famous fucking great tennis player. Who is Andre Agassi's wife. Yeah. Imagine the little tennis players. I wonder if they're making them do sit-ups and putting rackets in their hand.
I think they're just enjoying all the money that mom and dad have made.
Because those two, the Stefano and neither of them played tennis. No. They're just like, we pick at the tennis. Why did he pick tennis? I don't know.
So weird. What a choice.
She beats her 6-3, 3-6, 6-4.
She beat Steffi Graf?
She beat Steffi Graf and wins the fucking gold medal.
Unbelievable.
She wins the gold medal as a child, as a sophomore.
That is incredible.
She beats Steffi Graf and wins a gold medal, which is bonkers.
Steffi Graf's probably in her early 20s at this point, though, right?
Yeah, but in the rest of her career, she'll never beat Steffi Graf again.
Really?
Total in her career, she's 1-9 against Steffi Graf. One time was for the gold medal.
The one time it mattered. It still matters.
Pretty amazing, though. Yeah, she wins the gold. Steffi Graf wins the silver, and bronze is Sanchez Vicario.
Steffi is pissed.
Steffi is super pissed here. I would say so. Also goes on, there's a tournament in San Diego where she wins that one in August of 92. She's fucking cruising. 92 goes to the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, French Open, and Wimbledon. Third round of the U.S. Open. So she's doing very, very well here. But the problem is, this is when she's turning 16.
Yeah.
And she turns 16, and as anyone who's ever had a teenage daughter or known a teenage girl or been a teenage girl or anything like that knows, these two words that are used to describe her could pretty much describe anybody, not just girls, anybody of that age, boys too, but especially it seems to affect girls. Quote, surly and uncommunicative.
Well, yeah.
Which is about that's exactly what you'd call a 16-year-old to be surly, I would say. That's a good way to do it.
And Italian.
That's what I mean. She's pissy, and she's got her father calling her a ripe apple, and she's like, I don't want to fucking do this. Everybody calls her, those are the words that you use to describe her, surly and uncommunicative. She doesn't want to fucking do this anymore. She came away after the 92 season, even though she won a fucking gold medal, she described the whole year as, quote, a waste.
What?
So she just was pissed off about it. She her tennis director at a school of hers said, quote, on the road she was surrounded by agents, manufacturers, promoters, all the people who were asking something from her. She couldn't share a lot, and I think it was isolating and lonely. Yeah, I would say if you're 15
and you're talking to people that aren't your fucking friends
and agents and stuff like that, we're adults, and we have to talk to like business people and stuff like that, and we're always like, oh, Jesus Christ,
this is going to be brutal.
This is brutal, and we hate talking business and stuff. Imagine if you're 15. Imagine you're a sophomore, like we've said, and people are just like, no, we need to talk about this business thing for an hour and a half.
Yeesh.
You don't care. You're 16. You just want to go, was it 93, 92? You want to go listen to Nirvana and fucking Wu-Tang and tell people to leave you alone. That's all there is to it. So they end up hiring a coach at this point because she gets they say she's starting to get some burnout. Her grades start to slip at school, because she's busy. Concerned when you're making millions of dollars, it's hard for some. You're never going to amount to anything. I have $12 million in the bank. That's more than you'll ever fucking make. Shut up.
In your entire life combined.
In your entire life.
You'll never get to where
I could stop right. You could work till you die, and I could stop right now, and I'll still have more money than you.
I'm 16.
So what are we talking about? Why am I listening to math?
This is why I'm surly and uncommunicative.
That's what I mean. And that's the other thing, too. You're thinking, imagine the put-uponness of anybody. And the professional athletes feel this all the time, that they're put upon by the whole thing. And imagine if you're 16 where you feel put upon if someone tells you to clean your fucking room. You think it's a world conspiracy against you when it's just you need to clean your room. Imagine this for that. It's insane. So her father keeps being criticized a lot for pushing her. She would act rebelliously kind of on the court. If her parents would say something, she would ignore them and shit like that. Her father ends up stopping to coach her and hires Pavel Slozil, who sounds like an angry Eastern European man, to be the coach. Stefano says, right now she needs me as a father, not as a coach. And she's a very ripe. If you look at her right now, it's a very, very ripe. The picking is a good. Everybody, get in on my. You want to check her anal glands? I'll express them for you. She's a very nice, very ripe anal glands. I tell you.
So disgusting.
Jesus Christ. So he said, "quote This way we can keep them separate. This way they were separated." So Denise, the mother, she ends up leaving her job as a flight attendant to spend more time with her children because she was back doing flight attendant shit. And because by the 90s and 80s, you could be just a normal, you didn't have to be a single 23-year-old woman to be a flight attendant anymore. Which, it's fine. I just make sure you can hand me drinks without spilling them on me. And
that's all it is.
I don't really care how old you are, what you look like. I'm not interested. Just fucking...
Be a gay man. I don't give a shit.
I'd rather it's a gay man. Honestly, gay men are the best flight attendants.
Attentive.
They're fucking amazing flight attendants.
They're so nice.
I don't know if that's going to be considered like a sweeping, like a
broad generalization.
A broad generalization, but sorry, I mean,
they are really.
We
good
fly
at
a lot. Like you notice shit like that, and if I have a gay dude flight attendant, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is going to be a good flight.
We're going to be all right.
Things are going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Even if this shit goes down, I'll go down with a smile on my face because that man made sure that my drinks were full.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Also, this year, she becomes the youngest player to surpass the $1 million tennis earnings mark before 16.
Unbelievable.
Which is crazy. She finishes the season ranked number 7. She makes $315,501 in tennis, which is 15th overall. And grace.
Yeah.
Let's call this grace. Things start to get a little slippery after this. She's got 2 graces, by the way.
Really?
She's got a double grace. This is the first thing.
That's fun.
This is weird. Yeah,
she slips, falls, does better, and then falls again.
She slips, falls, gets up, climbs even higher, and then fucking crashes again. So, so 93, she continues to do well. She loses a tournament final to Steffi Graf at one point there, so she got some revenge against Steffi. Got some revenge against her here. She has a Australian Open. She goes there. She's in the. She put the Steffi Graf one too. She won one of the sets, and then Steffi kicked her ass in the next 2. I think she was mad. You don't piss off a German.
No,
don't piss off a German tennis player. They'll come right. I think she's German.
Nose.
German, Austrian, German, Austrian. I want to say she's German. That flag is German. That's German. She's fucking German, goddammit. So I see a little flag next to her name in my
black, red, and yellow.
Yeah, it's German. Yeah, it's like kind of almost the 80s Astros without the orange.
Yeah,
that's what their flag looks.
Black.
Yeah. I could see Nolan Ryan wearing their flag.
Yeah,
be great.
I don't know what Austria's flag looks like.
I don't either, to be honest with you. They're too small. I don't know. I don't know, man. So she had tendonitis and bone chips in her elbow at this point. How do you get that in your elbow? Tennis elbow, I guess, some sort of
bone chips.
Bone chips in her elbow. Yeah, she's I guess rubbing together. She loses in the first round of the U.S. Open in September, and then just stops playing for right then because of her injury and stuff like that.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, she goes back to Florida from the tour, and she starts having a hard time at home.
Yeah.
She tells people that she's having a hard time fitting in with her old friends. Yeah. She's been off on tour,
and she's got a shitload of money, so her friends want shit.
Well, not only that, they've been doing other things, and she hasn't been hanging out with them.
That's
so they're into stuff that she doesn't know what's going on. Right. If you're away from the group, you're away from the group. I used to come. My parents lived in separate coasts, so I used to go back and forth, and you'd come back from a summer. Yeah. And have to catch up of what are we all doing now? What are we into now?
That's one thing, but she's also got life experiences that make her older than
that's the other thing. Yeah, and they're not
the same in terms of what she's seen. She's seen adult shit.
Yeah,
and they haven't.
Yeah, no, it's true. One of the people around her said, quote, her peer group had moved on with their lives. She had to create a group for herself. Mm-hmm. I think she became fascinated with people who didn't even know who she was. Well, yeah. It was better than being around people who wanted something from her. Mm-hmm. So this is when she would she'll start hanging out with people and not telling them who she is.
Really?
Like she hangs out with people and she's like just on the down low, secret. Like only her friends will know who she is, and that's it.
Behave like a normal person.
She just doesn't want anybody to know who she is because then they automatically act differently around her and they want shit from her. Mm-hmm. And she's used to her parents and the sponsors and everybody else wanting something from her since she was in her crib being forced to do sit-ups.
Yeah.
Like it's been everybody wants her to do something. Right. So yeah, she would fucking fight with her parents away from tennis too. One day they were at a swimming pool and she was drinking a beer or an alcoholic drink of some kind, and Stefano fucking took it away from her and told her she can't have it because she's 16.
Right.
And apparently threw the drink on her.
Oh my God.
It's by the pool, but he threw the drink, not the glass, but like the liquid on her.
But at a public pool or in their own pool?
I think it was their own
pool.
Their own, yeah, right? I don't think they're at like an apartment complex.
She's got millions of dollars.
Yeah, I doubt they're at an apartment complex or anything. They're not like at the
pool.
Yeah, they're not at like the municipal pool down there. Fucking pushing kids with swimmies aside from both levels
to get a wine cooler ducked in her face.
Yeah, I don't think so. A family friend said, quote, it was a difficult time with the family members all yelling at each other all the time. Yeah. So that was that.
More money, more problems, babe.
That's what I'm saying. Well, for her, apparently. Yeah. So 19, if you're a teenager, more problems.
Absolutely.
You have problems going to school and coming home. Nothing but problems.
Exactly.
It's your whole fucking life. So November 1993, she moves out of her parents' house.
Oh, boy.
In Saddlebrook in Florida there and moves into an apartment nearby. Okay, which is...
You can't do that.
That's, I mean, she's got the money.
Yeah, but it's... no.
They're in a delicate spot with her because if they tell her no, then she can go to the court and get herself emancipated, and then they get shit.
They get nothing.
So they have to be... They're trying to play this, I feel like, very much...
yeah, but you got to understand it. When as a child who's being watched over and regimented everything, if she gets out of the house, it's going to be bedlam.
You're talking parenting, though, Jimmy. I feel like parenting went out the window a long while before any of this shit fucking happened.
She's just gonna rebel like shit.
Yeah. So she apparently she goes to a mall in November and early December, and she's with a bunch of her friends at the mall, and she ends up being arrested
for what?
For shoplifting.
Of course.
She is cited for shoplifting a $34.99 Marcasite ring. The purple whatever. They were big in the 90s, that Marcasite shit, from a kiosk at the mall in Tampa.
So cart in the middle of the mall.
That's all it was with rings. She said it was an accident. Yeah. She was like, "What the fuck?"
Tried it on and walked away.
Yeah, there was the vendor at an adjoining kiosk there saw her do it and summoned the mall security, and so mall security had to go stop a group of teenage girls here, and she was like, "Oh, what do you mean? Oh, I forgot. Oh, wow, yeah, I guess I don't know. I'll bring it right back," and all that type of shit. She said, quote, the kiosk guy said, quote, both of them were trying on rings and she didn't take a couple off. So apparently she was like trying them on and taking them off and just leaving one on. Fucking kid shoplifting shit that kids do.
That's the trick. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Right. So obviously here, so they said she walked off with the ring. The vendor does decide to file a complaint against her because he thinks she's lying about fucking doing it by accident. And so Tampa police officer issued a citation for shoplifting, a misdemeanor, and she is cooperative with the whole thing and has no juvenile record or anything. And so she ends up being released on her own recognizance of, being a millionaire.
And affording like a motherfucker.
Yeah, being able to afford as many rings as she wants. She says it was a misunderstanding. Her agent says, quote, it was an innocent mistake on her part. She was shopping with friends and she was distracted. We're viewing it as a minor incident. Well, it's good that you're viewing it as a minor incident, being that you make money from her. Barbara Perry, silver-haired middle-aged white woman. We got you covered. So actually, just man, we said you don't have to be silver-haired middle-aged white or a man to be a silver-haired middle-aged white man.
Very much like panhandle behavior and white trashery. You don't have to be that
any
color.
Of those things. Nickery, anything. Yeah. You could be a 22-year-old, black woman, and you would be a silver-haired middle-aged white man.
Excusing this behavior under the guise of
money
we'll take
for you.
Care of it.
Yeah. Right. So the gravy train keeps coming to you. We've had the definition.
We're going to handle this internally. Of course you are.
Of course you are. It's referred to the Florida State Attorney's Office, and basically she can't be charged as an adult here. It's not a big deal. Her father said it was worth $15. And even though it was $35, it was stupid. It was a mistake. She said, Stefano said, everywhere we go in the world, she's always collecting the rings, which, by the way, I just said that and you heard it in Italian. Everywhere we go in the world, she's always collecting the rings. He said that in there in the fucking. That's like when you read the Shawarma Man in the original one, and we said that guy's not American. No, you could tell by his quote. He's always collecting the rings, and this time she forgot to give the ring back, and they called the police. You know how it goes. He says Jennifer is very sorry that it happened, but it was a teenager thing. I can't punish her for it. She didn't mean to do it. She's collecting the rings. I tell her, you get her the coins, you get her the rings.
Yeah.
You jump onto the turtle. If you see a question mark, you would jump up.
Right.
Bing. And maybe one time, maybe coin come out. You hit it again, maybe more coin. Could be whole box of them. You might get 10 if you do it real fast.
I think those are coins.
And any mushroom that come out, you eat those too. They are coins. A ching, and you keep it doing. You never know,
Sonic the Hedgehog, just running around.
So he's got rings.
Picking
That's
up
why,
rings.
Yeah, he's got rings.
Or you
made it coins.
Or you do a Lord of the Rings reference that I'm incapable of doing because
I don't know that either. Sonic's not Italian, so I just went with the closest thing I could come up with. I can't give Sonic that accent. So
that's a good point.
Mario, though.
Primo.
Perfect. Always collecting the rings. So, 93, like we said, quarterfinals in a bunch of the tournaments here in Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, same as last year, quarterfinal. She goes there. We told you about the first round loss in the U.S. Open, which is what everybody freaked out about. She earns $357,108 though. That year. So not bad. 17th overall for women earnings there. 1994. So January 94. So she's in her own apartment here. She is in a residential area. It's north of Tampa. The other residents of this area are Pete Sampras, who was at the time, top male player in the world, probably. The whole thing, she talks later on too. She says that she was just trying to decorate her apartment. That's why she was at the mall, and she had just purchased a vase for her apartment. So she was just really focused on home interiors. Right. And as she walked by the ring place, they said, let's look at these. And then I just, I'm so focused on what accent wall I'm going to use and what color it's going to be and how I can match my fucking accessories to it that Marcasite aside. You know how that goes?
16.
Unbelievable. So yeah, she still has tendonitis in her elbow and she is just, kind of not playing at this point. She says she's taking time away from tennis to rehab her arm and concentrate on school and having a normal social life. She tells reporters here, I'll tell you what, let's do it in their own words. Let's get some 16-year-old insight on this whole thing here. She says in their own words, quote, I need a break from tennis. It's unfortunate that I had an injury, especially one that required such a long recuperation, but I feel I've made the most of my break from the tour, and I've decided I want to concentrate on finishing my senior year. So, fine. That's good. That seems healthy. You want her to fucking finish school, I would think. Her agent from IMG, by the way, here, Barbara Perry, she made sure to go, no, we will be making more money off this girl. She said, quote, this isn't a retirement. Like, don't think that. No, we don't know the exact date she'll come back. It depends on her workload. Yeah. But trust me, we will shake her, turn her upside down, and shake the change from her pockets if we have to. We'll get her out there.
Come on back, Oil of Olay. And
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
re-up
go.
that contract.
That's right. They expect her to return in February. That was January here. Now, at school, she has a certain thing here. The Saddlebrook Academy, where she attended up until April, the guy who ran the place said that, quote, Jennifer liked to hang out with guys who were, quote, cool and, quote, with it. Yeah. By the way, this guy is probably 80 years old.
Not cool and not with it.
With it.
Yeah.
And he put it in quotes, too. Cool and with it. Like, that's like a total, like, 1960, well, like it's a beatnik or something. Hey, he's real with it, man. You should hear his poems, man. They're amazing.
He's real hip to it.
He's totally hip, man. You should hear what he says about Eisenhower. It's totally out there, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Cool and with it. So he says, quote, I had to throw 8 of them out of school. He threw 8 guys out of school because Jennifer liked them.
And because they were
with it. 8 cool with it dudes who are too distracting for Jennifer. So that's part of the curriculum. Like, bring your son here. It's an excellent curriculum, or we have great athletics. But if that chick thinks he's cute, if that chick thinks he's with it, he's got to fucking go. Yeah. So
it's like the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. Children had to switch schools because she found them attractive.
Because they were far out dudes.
Because they were too far out with it. Fucking cool, man. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
I don't even know what to say about that. These guys were just hip cats and too much for her.
Principal's jealous as fuck.
What a cock blocker. He kicked out of school because she thinks I'm cute. The tennis chick thinks I'm cute. How's that my fault?
I'm 17 trying to get laid by the hot chick who's got a shitload of money.
I don't understand
Let
this
me
here.
be cool and try to get laid, you dick.
Jesus, man. What the fuck is happening? So February comes around. And so this is when her agent said she's going to play, and she announces she's going to take an extended leave from the women's tour to finish high school. Okay. Her father, again, everybody, it's okay. Keep the money coming. No, I live Olay. She's still looking young. Right. She's still looking young. He says, quote, she's not rebelling. That's what he said. He says, quote, she's testing everybody. Me, her mother, her friends. She wants to see how they react to her if she doesn't play a tennis. And she's testing herself too. The tennis, the money, the attention. It was like a merry-go-round that starts spinning really fast, you know, a spin. And he doesn't say that. And and on, want to jump off, but you're caught on it so that you can't. So
Giuseppe, what's the definition of rebelling? Because you just said it.
He said she's not rebelling.
She's rebelling.
She's just testing everybody. Me, her mother, her friends. She wants to see how they react if she doesn't play tennis, which is what you do when you rebel.
Right.
What do they do if I don't do what they want me to do? That's rebelling. She's testing herself too.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a merry-go-round. You're so caught up in the merry-go-round that you can't get off. But she did. She ends up dropping out of school in March and saying, fuck that, never mind school. Change my mind.
Yeah.
And again, hard to concentrate when you're rich. And moves into an apartment in Boca. Okay. Gets her own place, a little bit away from her parents. There, she a lot of people start talking about now about younger players playing and such. Because
it's working out for her.
She's kind of
financially,
but she's kind of burned out in 3 years.
Oh, so they're saying maybe this is a bad idea.
They're going, they're kind of using her, which isn't really fair either, because she had a little injury and she kind of burned out a little. But they're saying like, well, that was that. That's And she's like, and they're all going, no, keep the checks coming. So this one lady, Stephanie Tollison, who's a player agent from the International Management Group, IMG, another agent, another silver-haired middle-aged white man. She says, quote, "We all have a responsibility to create a healthy environment in which players can perform to the best of their ability without sacrificing normal psychological or sociological growth. It is that responsibility that we believe is necessary to solving one of the key problems facing women's tennis today, that a child of 13 or 14 years has a physical ability to compete effectively on the women's professional circuit. With that ability comes interest, also known as pressure, from the media, manufacturers, agents, and most importantly, whether they realize it or not, from their parents." Well, yeah. We're going to take advantage of that and make money.
All of that was such an obvious statement. It's just common sense.
She stated this.
She's defending her dirty shit.
It was the State of the Union, and also defending it, but saying that, it's a bad idea at the same time. She's just double talking.
Terrible idea.
Very agenty.
Paying my mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. But I did pay my mortgage this month. One person who knows her said, quote, "The chances of Jennifer coming back are the greatest if she wants to come back for herself. It could happen if she surrounds herself with people who are positive, who can guide her and support her if she loses, not tell her she's worthless. Stefano is in control. That should tell you all you need to know. I'm worried about her. If she doesn't come back, what will she be doing this time next year? She's pretty far gone." Yeah. Probably being rich and enjoying life. But no. So now she keeps practicing. At this point, her father is coaching her again through practicing, and that's why they're saying, the father's controlling everything. Another person that's close to the situation said, quote, "He obviously wants her to play," talking about Stefano. Sure. "I don't think he knows what to do. It frustrates him. She looks like she wants to try to come back, and then she goes off on a trip or something. If you're going to be a professional, there's some things you have to give up and sacrifice." She's trying to kind of placate her father and act like, yeah, I'm going to come back. All the agents, all the people want me to come back. Everybody needs money, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But at the same time, I'm going away with my friends this weekend too. And it's
some other time.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back. It's one of those things. So March of 1994, here, it's so weird too, because they have like this weird paparazzi thing. Like they talk to, like the mall by her house. They talk to this, salesperson who said that she looked like she gained 20 pounds.
Wow.
And she looked, quote, bleary-eyed when she was in here, and he refused to take her check.
What kind of TMZ shit is this? I mean, it's a child.
Yeah. Let me judge physically a 16-year-old, and then tell you about her financial. Like, this is the other thing, and we've said this many times. We've had fewer female athletes on the show, obviously. We tend to be easier on them because we're guys. So we know what it's like to be a guy and to go, whatever. We can imagine what it's like to go through something as a guy, but as a woman, it's a different thing.
I don't understand.
I can't imagine what it's like to be a teenage girl. Yeah. We're talking 14, 15, 16, where boy or girl, you're worried about your appearance, and you're going through fucking puberty, and things are changing, and it's an awkward thing for everybody. And imagine while you're doing that, you're on television going through that, and everyone is judging you that way.
And your appearance.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Imagine people judging your looks and whether they want to fuck you or not, and things like that as a 14-year-old girl. Grown men doing that. Grown people in general, like it was marketing that sort of thing, and people looking at you like that. I can't imagine what kind of pressure that's got to put on a teenage girl.
She probably...
I can't. It's insane.
She probably looks more mature and older being on a court with somebody else that's mature and old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it probably makes... And it makes it way worse.
It's really tough. Yeah, that's got to be so fucking hard to be that. I can't imagine being under that microscope.
You got to do it that works at the mall. Calling you fat and bleary-eyed.
Calling you fat and bleary-eyed. Jesus Christ. A reporter caught up with her for Sports Illustrated, and she wouldn't say much. She said, quote, "I'm just not ready to open up. I'm just chilling, having fun." Yeah. So she just wants to be left alone to be a teenager and piss some of her money away at this point. So they said that her parents, her old teacher, one of her old teachers at the private school that she left, said, quote, "Jennifer doesn't want to be a role model. She's adopted Charles Barkley's philosophy," which, if you're too young to remember, he did a commercial where he said, I'm not a role model. Right. And everybody made a huge fucking deal out of it, like he had to be. Right. And so that's what they're saying here.
Before that commercial came out, that's what it was that if you walked up to a celeb, like some sort of athlete celebrity, they had to behave and be like this nice guy to like every kid. And Charles Barkley just was the mouthpiece for every frustrated athlete that's like, look, dude, that's not what I do.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah,
kids.
I don't care.
I don't raise your kids.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, you shouldn't say, look at that guy and do what he does.
Do what he does. Because Charles Barkley gets blowjobs by hookers at stop
gets
signs.
In bar fights and shit.
You don't want to be like that guy.
And he's not embarrassed about it either. That's the other thing. He's like, look, I'm me, motherfucker. Right. You want your kids to throw people through windows and get blowjobs at 2 a.m. from hookers, then I'm the guy to look at. Otherwise, don't fucking blame me if your kids are shitty.
It's not my fault.
So she ends up on March 29th, she ends up in some sort of treatment center for a few days.
Depression or something?
It never comes out what it is. Yeah. It's just a treatment center. They don't know if it's a substance abuse, depression, or mental health, or whatever the fuck it is. But by March 29th, she's living back at her parents' house. Okay. There. There's a women's tournament played on March 21st. But she ignores everybody that tries to get a hold of her. It's in like right in her area, and people come into town. People that are friends with her, players Pam Shriver and Tracy Austin, leave a message and ask her to dinner. She never fucking even gets back to them. Steffi Graf called and invited her to hit some balls with her in Boca Raton and just whatever. And Capriati said no. So I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's the same week here. The Capriati there was a party for one of her friends. It was a birthday party, and she wouldn't leave her room. Like, her mother had the party, and she wouldn't fucking leave her room. Like, she's acting like
She's acting like she's removing herself from everybody because she's got mental health issues. That's what she's acting like.
She said that her friends kept going to her room to visit her, but eventually she just left the house while the party was going on. She didn't even want people to bother her. You never know. Right. So everyone said they were a little bit taken aback by the way she looked, because she looked a lot different from the last time they saw her. She put on a bunch of weight. She looks real pissy and sullen. She's got like a nose ring now. And she's looking like a fucking 90s teenager. You know? That's all. She looked like every kid that I went to high school with, like probably all those girls.
Maybe a growth spurt.
Yeah, nose ring and probably wearing Doc Martens. And, it's like that was what it was.
I like her already.
Yeah, she's probably a cool chick. Like a
belly shirt with a flannel tied around.
Someone I would have liked in high school, probably.
Hang out.
Totally. So but people were a little bit taken aback because she was if you look at her pictures, like on all the sports things, they tried to make her look like little Nancy Kerrigan, basically, like little Disney princess girl. Look at her, isn't she perfect? But instead, she was more into. She liked her favorite groups were Nirvana and Ice Cubes. And Ice Cubes. Ice Cube.
You sounded like a dad there.
I was looking at another sentence, and I was.
How's your son? He's doing great. He listens to a lot of music. His favorite artist is Ice Cubes.
No. The S was the start of another sentence.
I got it.
And then I said, I'm talking to.
It just sounded awesome.
It did sound awesome. It sounded like when he put the in between the other thing. Into the thing. So she's in the Cube, and she's into Nirvana. One of her friends, this is fucking amazing. One of her friends here said her old friends just don't get her now. They said, this is amazing. And it's a guy named Kevin Spencer, who is one of her roommates, and he's a tennis instructor at some Florida college. He said, quote, they don't know who Jen is. They don't hang out with her. They don't listen to Ice Cube. They don't know who Jen is. They don't listen to Ice Cube. They can't possibly understand a teenage rich white girl unless they listen to Ice Cube. Obviously.
They're clearly not with it.
Yeah. Unless they really listen to the lyrics in Ghetto Bird, and you'll understand Ice Cube. That's really the one that the fuck are you talking about? It's
hilarious. What they don't understand is that Jen's fucking angry.
She's
an angry teenager.
She listens to No Vaseline over and over again because she feels like people are sucking her
they're
fucking,
taking her money.
Same way.
And she's furious.
Yeah.
And she hates the whole operation, and that's why she likes Nirvana, because they say fuck everybody.
Yeah.
That's how she feels.
That's what
fuck you all.
Her parents are eating dinner, and they're like, Jen, come out. And she's like, I ain't going out like Kunta Kinte. Fuck Ren. Fuck him. That's right.
Jeez.
I got some shit to say about Eazy-E, too. I'll tell you about that shit. That is you have to know the song to understand what I'm talking about. So,
Dad's dick smells like mom's shit.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Unbelievable.
Stefano's dick smelling like mom shit. So, April of 1994 here, she again moves out of her house, out of her parents' house. She gets another residence of her own in Boca. It's with her old friend here, a girl named Missy, who was attending college around there. They found an apartment, and apparently it was a little bit too small for Capriati, so she ends up finding another place, and moves in with three dudes.
Oh, geez. 3
dude roommates, including she brings her one friend, and then her friend's boyfriend, and then some other guy lives there too. So she talks to her agent. She says she's interested in playing tennis again. Her agent's all excited, saying she's playing 4 or 5 times a week at the public park. She's doing great. She says, quote, practices were getting longer and more intense. The way she was drilling the ball, I went through 24 sets of strings. She was really hungry and wanted to come back. So apparently she's beating the shit out of the ball. Another one of her friends said that everybody's trying to get her into tennis. She says, quote, one of her friends was hitting with her, one of her friends was lifting with her, I was running with her. We wanted to provide a good atmosphere for her. But he then says, quote, we weren't on the best of terms. In a way, there was something really not right with her relationships with people. She wasn't the same person. That was her friend Missy that she moved in with. So this all kind of culminates in May. May 13th, 1994. It's a Friday night. It's her and a couple of her friends, joined by 3 dudes, and they're hanging out in Coral Gables. They end up partying it up Friday night. By Saturday morning, Capriati checks into a motel. And it's a shit $50 a night motel that she's staying in, some dumpy fucking place. Very weird here. When she checks in, she's accompanied by a blonde young man who I think is pretty with it. Named Nathan Wilson. Who is apparently cool and with it.
Nate is down as fuck.
Nate is pretty with it. So the night before, Capriati showed up at a party at her friend's parents' house in South Miami. And according to a couple of people at the party, Capriati knew this Lucy girl that she hung out with and somebody else. She knew them. This Lucy girl introduces her to this other guy, not this Nathan Wilson, another dude. We'll talk about him. His name is Mark Black. He's 19, and he sounds like
he's a problem.
It sounds like a problem, right?
He sounds like the dude that drives the old
Mark
lifted,
Black.
He's like lifted Blazer, and
it's
he's a
Becky's
piece of
boyfriend
shit.
and Roseanne.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
You know what I mean?
He's a dickhead.
He's a dick. Yeah, he just beeps when he comes to pick her up. He doesn't even come to the door. He just fucking beeps and yells, "Come on, hurry up already!"
And he shouts that over Metallica's Black.
Everybody's waiting.
Get in, Jen.
Wherever I may roam. So that's what's going on here. Now she just introduces this Mark to her as Jen. That's it. This is Jen. Doesn't say it's Jen for Capriati. This is nothing.
This is a very rich girl.
This is my friend Jen.
Right.
Some other chick at the party. I mean, you don't think twice about it. So this other the Wilson, the Nathan Wilson, said he knew Capriati from parties he would go to, and was friendly with kind of the same crowd. There's a bunch of like teenage kids that party all the time. I don't know who these kids are.
She's hanging out with the 3 years and 4 years older than her.
Well, 2 years at this point. That's so. Yeah, she's like 17. The one guy says, "quote She came down 2 or 3 times before this. She came down 3 weeks ago, and we stayed at a hotel on the beach. Me, Jennifer, and Lucy. She has a bank card, and she lent it to me sometimes and asked me to get stuff. So she would also kind of just say, "Here, take my card and go do this shit." So she ends up meeting Mark Black at that party. Like I said, she checked in with her own name to the hotel. She used her credit card, all that sort of shit here. So partying goes on through the weekend. She's going to parties. They're all going to parties and then continuing the party back at this motel and then going to more parties and then coming back to the bar.
Lord.
It's just this all-consuming going thing here. Now, Saturday night, all the girls are dressed up because it was prom night at the local high school. Remember, these girls are all like seniors in high school.
Yeah.
So it's prom night, so they're all dressed up, but nobody ever goes to the dance. They kind of go around picking other kids up from parties, from random parties, and end up at that girl Lucy's house, where they're going to have a post-prom party.
Right.
Now, Lucy's parents were not expected to be home, and apparently were home. This causes what is called by another kid as, quote, caused, quote, an ugly scene.
Yeah.
And everyone was thrown out of the house by the parents, except for Lucy, who had to stay because she was grounded.
Okay.
So that's how that went. So, yes, Saturday was this Mark Black guy's birthday, and that's where he went. That's why he was out and about, and he went to visit Lucy and Capriati at Lucy's house, and that's when they were all partying. And then Lucy's parents came home, grounded the daughter. Capriati and Black took off and left her behind. Now, he says, quote, Black says to her, quote, Jennifer said it's your birthday and we can party your birthday in a hotel. And so she said, quote, I'm not going to say no. Would you say no? Maybe. So, yeah, this is the Gables Inn. They check into room 109 at 1:23 a.m. Sunday. They get this other room in another place here. It's a $50 a night room, by the way. She uses her Visa card to check in. It's about, it's basically not in the greatest neighborhood, as most $50 a night motels are.
It's a piece of shit.
There's not a lot of $50 a night motels in the middle of Beverly Hills. No. It's not like, Rodeo. You go past this, there, and it's that little shithole right past.
Location.
It's not how that works, yeah. So they say it's pretty close to a big, kind of a big drug area in Miami. It's not a great area here. But Black says that he and Capriati talked till dawn. Okay? Now, by Sunday morning here, they talked to dawn. They also drank beer, smoked weed, did all that shit. Everybody said that while everybody else fell asleep, Black and Capriati stayed up all night talking.
Oh, bye.
Exactly. That's never good.
No.
About 11 in the morning that morning, Lucy shows up and meets them at a Denny's close by.
Okay.
So they stop at Denny's, and they're all eating at Denny's there. Mark Black is there, and, he's into Jennifer's into him.
Right.
They're all sitting there. Lucy's there. All these people are here. They're Black asked Capriati at this point, because she's like a 17-year-old girl, how can you afford to? Because she said she'd pick up the bill for breakfast, and he goes, "How would you have all this money to do all this?
Yeah,
you're like renting hotel rooms, you're like sending people out with your bank card, you're in Denny's. Like teenage kids just don't have that. I remember when I was 16, if someone had a bank card, it was like, holy shit, you have an ATM card? Like what the fuck, man? And then like if they actually had money in there, like they could actually buy things, you'd be like, are you kidding me?
Swipe it and it works.
Holy fuck, man! Like your parents just didn't give you that and say like, in case we die, use this to buy our headstone, like." Wow. Okay. So, and she didn't want to answer, and she just laughed and said, I won the lottery, and joked like she was joking around. And then Lucy next to her blurts out, she's Jennifer Capriati. Yeah. Which the guy didn't even know that at that point.
Deal.
So he yelled, oh my God, you're fucking really famous. Like, I know who you are, and I don't give a shit about anything. I'm Mark Black, the nihilistic 19-year-old 90s teenager. I don't care.
Shit.
I care about nothing. My idol is Puck from the real world. There's very little going for me.
I just ate my omelet with my fingers.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying here. I don't know how to use silverware. Apparently Capriati got super pissed, stopped smiling. Lucy Annette Black there. She said she smacked Black in the arm, like, don't say that. Like he just said, aren't you a fucking pudgy bitch or something? Like, stop that. And Lucy then said, oh, she hates that. Like, she hates if you know, basically. So at one point later on when they were talking, he says that she told him why she got tired of the game. She said, he said, quote, she explained to me she loves tennis. The happiest moments of her life are when she's playing. But as soon as it got to be number one, it was too stressful. They were running her life, her dad, her coaches. She didn't make money just for herself. A lot of people were depending on her.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking pressure.
Which too much pressure for a 16-year-old. It's way too much here. So the problem is they all go back to that hotel that they were hanging out at, and that they have their room 109 at the Gables Inn motel. And it's at this point where Lucy is considered a runaway by her parents because she's fucking grounded.
And child.
She's 17.
Can do that.
And a bunch of people had come here. The word got out about the party, so there's about 20 people there. All these other people. There's a guy with the last name of Wineland that's there. We'll talk about him in a second. Black, Wilson, they're all there. All the crew is here. And this Wineland, by the way, is not a good guy. He's been convicted of a drug charge in Connecticut, is on probation. So he had been kicked out of the Wilson guy's house by the Wilson guy's mother, and Wilson took off with him to that dude Nathan Wilson. So anyway, what ends up happening is over the course of Sunday night, Wilson says he saw Capriati use both crack and heroin.
Oh, Jesus.
He says, quote, "I did see her smoking crack and I did see her snort heroin."
What? How did she get here?
That's what he tells Sports Illustrated. Now, this is a time where a lot of kids were snorting heroin. I knew a ton of kids in New York that were snorting heroin.
This is
a big deal.
World-class athlete smoking crack.
Smoking crack is a little much here. He says, quote, "She did it 2 times in the hotel. I think she was just experimenting with it, but crack, it seems every time I saw her, she just wanted it. It was crazy. We must have spent at least $1,000 the whole weekend. Like every hour she'd send me back for $200. Coke goes quick,
Oh, boy.
So, that's what he says. He was the one being sent out with her bank card to go get more all the time here. So, this has gotten fucking whatever, little off.
It's hairy.
Now, the black guy, though, he says, he's not a black guy. His name is Black. He says Capriati was smoking weed and drinking and popping anti-anxiety pills, is what he was doing. He says, say it takes you 8 beers to get drunk. You got a good tolerance.
Yeah.
If I drank 8 beers, I'd be sleeping.
8
I don't
beers?
drink.
I can drink 8 beers.
Yeah. You'll be drinking. You'll be drunk.
Yeah. I'll be
noticeably drunk, probably.
Certainly.
He says, with these, it takes 3 beers if you take the pills too. Right. He says emphatically, quote, "Jennifer did not smoke crack and she did not smoke heroin." Well, he said she snorted heroin, not smoked it. "I was pretty much with her the entire time. What I saw was an 18-year-old girl living a normal life, getting drunk with a lot of people, celebrating a birthday party. That's all." Black says that now there's 2 other, Wilson and the Wineland guy, both say that they were used to go get drugs and she was smoking crack and all this type of shit. Everybody else in her camp says that they're making this up for tabloids and all that sort of thing. Wineland said of her, quote, "I think drugs are her main priority." So at some point in the evening, Capriati gave Wineland the keys to her Miata, which sounds like exactly what she would drive around Florida, and her bank card so he could buy beer and cigarettes. But when Wineland returned, this black says, quote, "You could tell he'd smoked crack. His lips were all black. He said, 'I need more money,' and he went right at Jennifer, saying, 'I'll let you try it.' He was tempting her, but she turned it down because of me." So he's saying she wanted to smoke crack, but I wouldn't fucking let her. It looked attractive to her.
What a hero.
So, so Sunday night, problem is, this Lucy's stepfather comes searching for her, after the whole thing about the, hearing about the hotel. When he arrives, there's only a few kids there, and his daughter was out with one of the boys. Still, he goes into the room and he says, quote, "Capriati was on the bed, dazed, bloated, whacked out on something."
Oh my God.
Why is everyone commenting on her fucking weight, man?
Everybody wants to call her a fatso.
Why are all these grown people commenting on a fucking teenage girl's weight? I don't understand why they're so obsessed with this shit. They have to throw it in.
Is it that much weight? Like that it's got to be commentable?
No, it doesn't matter. She didn't gain 300 pounds. She didn't turn it wasn't like Nutty Professor.
Right.
Like she blew up like a fucking balloon.
If she gained it, she can lose it. She's a child.
It's insane. She's an athlete who hasn't been going but why are you even mentioning it? Everybody bleary-eyed, fine, whacked out on drugs, whatever. Bloated? Is that needed?
And bloated isn't even a description of like fat. That just means like, you know what I mean? She's definitely She's out of shape because she's bloated.
Bloated. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. So Capriati was on the bed, dazed, bloated, whacked out on something. He said, quote, "The room was a total mess with beer cans and trash and food everywhere." And so the stepdaughter gets home, gets back to the room. They argue for a while, but eventually this chick leaves. So what ends up happening, though, that was Sunday night. She ends up escaping through a window, and finally the family calls the police because she escaped through a window, and they say she's probably at that fucking hotel again. So Monday morning, the family calls the police again, and Lucy's parents calls a friend on the narcotics squad to come check out the room based on what they said Capriati looked like. So in response, 2 sets of officers go to the hotel. Now they knock on the door. Capriati lets them in. She was registered in there and everything. She lets them search her room for some fucking reason rather than just going, I don't know, you fuck off. Capriati, I'm famous. Talk to my lawyer. She says, sure. They find in her duffel bag, along with all of her shit, they find a bag of weed in there with her stuff. So, yes, they end up arresting her for the weed there. Mugshot's not a good one. No. They've described it here bad. Apparently she was wearing the same clothes for like 3 days and she'd been up partying and all that. So poor kid, you don't want the world to see that shit on you there. So, what ends up happening, before that, the party broke up. We'll go back to a couple minutes before the cops came. The party broke up. Black and Capriati were alone about 10 a.m. At that point, a few other people returned, Wilson, Wineland, and some other guy. They returned to the hotel. They wake Capriati and Black up, and they asked to borrow Capriati's car again. Wineland said Wilson said she gave him the keys and sent him out for drugs. This is what they're saying. This was one of the drug runs through all this. Meanwhile, the cops are coming. They get there. Black and Capriati were still there. They searched her shit, find her weed. Black said, quote, she started crying. She said, I don't want this attention. Let me call my lawyer. So she realized now, oh shit, this is going to be in the paper. I'm going to be in trouble. So now what ends up happening is the police are there, and then the other 3 come back with her car and pull in, and there are the cops. So according to the police, the Wineland guy got out of the car. How stupid is this guy? I don't know if he didn't see the cops, if he's that fucked up. He got out of the car holding a crack pipe. Okay, now.
Hey, do you guys know what this is?
What? Who fucking...
I just found this on the road, and I wondered if...
Holding it in his hand, like he had a beer in his hand. Like this guy just hangs out. I see him on the couch, just crack pipe in his hand with a koozie around it. It's my crack koozie. I keep it going.
Keeping it from burning my fingers.
So he holds the crack pipe in his hand. Apparently he then sees the cops and tries to shove the crack pipe down his pants, which looks even fucking worse. So unbelievable. And then later on, so they arrest him. They take the Wilson, and they take this Brannigan girl into the possession of the police possession here. Custody is the word I'm looking for. Possession. I'm like, that's not the right word. And then when they search them, they find the girl in the group was hiding heroin in her pants.
Oh my God.
So there is crack and heroin in here, and they used her car to go get. So these stories are not, they don't have money.
No.
She has money to crack and heroin. Like where, so
Who
it's,
bought that? Right.
It's one of those things here. So yeah, they pulled, by the way, the Miata was a tournament prize. She won the silver Miata convertible. So
what a
yeah.
shit prize.
And by the way, the police described this Thomas Weiland as a quote, a drifter from New Milford, Connecticut, which is awesome. A drifter from New Milford, Connecticut with a criminal record, which sounds like the beginning of like a 50s movie with some dude in a leather jacket. So, Jesus Christ, they all go in here. There's oh, by the way, the crack pipe is not empty. The crack pipe is filled with crack. Like he filled it up in the car and was about to fucking torque on it. So yeah, he's got a crack pipe full of crack, and she ends up having 2 packets of heroin concealed in her crotch, the friend here. So look how they both went for their pants. So, this Capriati, as they get into it, they're like, okay, she's hanging around. There's a lot of hard drugs. 3 days of straight partying and all this shit. This is more than 17-year-old hijinks now. Now, this is there. Not wonderful here. The Wineland guy was charged with possessing crack cocaine and drug paraphernalia, held on $6,000 bond. The girl was held for her 2 packets of heroin here. So there's all of that. The Wineland guy told a tabloid, quote, she smoked crack for a couple hours and then we stopped. We started smoking reefers. She was also eating painkillers and drinking. So yeah, that was that. According to his lawyer, the drifter here said that he just insists that she kept giving him the car and the card, saying go get more, and that she's also, quote, whacked out on heroin. So there's that. Whacked out. He's real with it. This whacked out guy.
Who says that?
That's what I mean. They all say that, obviously her crew says it's just for tabloids, and the whacked out on heroin thing is ridiculous. And they said he changed his story too, because he told one tabloid that he only smoked crack with her, and then he told the other tabloid that he did crack and heroin with her. So obviously he's lying. It's
gotta be that,
because I mean, to me, crack is consistent.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just crack. I don't fucking know. So, the Nathan Wilson guy insists that Capriati didn't use heavy drugs, only weed. She said she didn't give him any money for drugs. She gave them cigarette and food money, and that was it. But the police said that she was definitely under some kind of influence there. They couldn't figure it out. Now, silver-haired, middle-aged white man coming up, alert here. One of the agents or her lawyer said about this whole thing, quote, the accusations about heroin have come from a gentleman named Tom Wineland. I'm almost hesitant to call him a gentleman.
Yeah.
That's very silver-haired there. He says, quote, Tom is getting paid good money to tell that juice. What is this guy from the 30s? Tom is getting paid good money to tell that juice, I tell you. He's telling all the rag sheets. He is spreading rumors it was him solely doing heroin. He's the only heroin user in the house.
Heroin addict here, and he's got a juicy-ass story.
Oh, except for the chick with 2 packets down her crotch. Right. She probably did it too. So, he's saying that, and then he also says that these are ridiculous allegations, quote, coming from a crackhead. He said, examine the source and decide whether or not you think it's credible. Who are you going to believe? She's 13 years old on the cover of Sports Illustrated, or a crackhead?
The word crackhead definitely ruins all credibility.
It's just dive.
Everything.
That's what I mean. Whenever fucking, I saw Chris Rock, Bobby Brown got mad at Chris Rock on Twitter for making a Whitney Houston joke.
Right.
And you just want to go, you're a fucking crackhead.
Right.
Shut up. Right. You might be right, but guess what? Anything you say doesn't matter. You know why? Fucking crackhead. Right. Anything you say, you're actually helping lose your own argument. You're taking credibility away from whatever you say because you're a crackhead. If someone says, I heard the sun's going to come up tomorrow, and you go, where'd you hear that? A crackhead told me. You'd go, I don't know about that then.
Might not happen.
I'm not sure it's going to happen. Why? Because a crackhead told you.
Exactly.
So, So she gets arrested. Her father, again, says, quote, it's a teenager thing. Yeah. That's what he says about it again. Now, everybody else, her friends say that she's had a drug problem for at least a year. She kind of comes in, hangs out with the group and does drugs and then goes back to her life. And she's trying to compartmentalize. Within hours of her arrest, Prince, the manufacturer of rackets, and Diodora, an Italian clothing firm, both cut her cut their sponsorships for her within hours.
Oh no!
I mean, she was still fucking getting processed, and she was losing sponsors like that.
Fuck.
And her agents were saying, we are talking to Oil of Olay this week, and we're trying to smooth this out.
We're
basically
iron it all out, and we're gonna get those 2 back.
Yeah, 2 days after the arrest, she enters the addiction treatment center of Mount Sinai Medical Center in Miami Beach and does 28 days in a rehab facility here.
Thing.
Yeah, this might have been a little more than just a little weed and a little bit of booze, or maybe it was a lot of booze and a lot of bit of something, and she couldn't handle it.
Or maybe she's trying to get out in front of
who knows,
a scandal and just saying, look, I did my time in there. I don't have a problem, so if I go do this, it'll be fine.
And back then too, in the 90s, rehab was the magic elixir. You could kill 30 people and be like, I was on drugs and now I'm going to rehab, and people would be like, I think he's going to make it. I think he's better now. And rehab was like this magic, fix you as a person thing. Like, Any celebrity, no matter how awful they did anything, wrap their car around a tree, all this shit. Oh, they're in rehab now. Okay, it's fine. So, fucking everybody is crazy about this whole thing. And an old teacher of hers says, quote, all of this has very little to do with Jennifer. It has to do with how we position young athletes in our society, and what we overlook there is money changing hands, which is true. I don't think children should be allowed to play for professional tennis before the age of 18. There ought to be child labor laws to prevent it. Okay. Now that Andrea Jaeger, who's one of the people that they brought up as the reason not to let children play tennis, she says, quote, I think a lot of this stems from not being able to do what she really wanted to do while she was young. But in one sense, this could be the best thing that ever happened to her. Maybe this is a wake-up call, not just to Jennifer, but to everybody. And another young tennis player said, quote, just 4 years ago, she had such unbridled joy and enthusiasm in her game and in her face. She was just such a great story, such a happy kid. It's painful to look back at that all today. So she goes to rehab there. The International Tennis Federation forms a special commission this week to consider raising the minimum age on women's tour from 14 to 16. Like, maybe we shouldn't let kids this young fucking play.
We've made this kid do heroin.
Yeah, this is not great here. So, she says about this whole thing, she says it all started with her first round U.S. Open elimination. She said she contemplated suicide, everything over this. She says, told the New York Times, quote, mentally, I just lost it. I really was not happy with myself, my tennis, my life, my parents, my coaches, my friends. When I looked in the mirror, I actually saw this distorted image. I was so ugly and fat, I just wanted to kill myself, really.
Wow.
Well, gee, if everyone who ever fucking sees her is calling her fat and bloated in the fucking newspaper, how do you not feel like that? Kids who have every bit of support in the world and no one calls them fat feel like that. You know, I mean, there's fucking eating disorders that are such a huge deal with people who are not even being fucking, under a microscope on a national and international level and being called fat by fucking reporters and dickheads who work in a kiosk at the mall.
It's a terrible word to call any child.
It's fucking horrible, man.
That's got to be the worst thing to say to a girl that's still
not
becoming a woman, like not even knows who she is yet.
Not great. She said, I mean, it's just horrible, man. And John McEnroe speaks up now, the tennis great John McEnroe. He says, quote, you should look at what the parents do to their do for their children. It's very unhealthy for their long-term career to put them out there so early when they don't know that they don't know what $5 is, let alone $1 million. Sponsors and companies, just so they can help themselves, offer these little teenagers multi-million-dollar contracts, and they accept it, but they don't understand the ramifications. Yeah.
If Johnny Mac, she's super healthy. Her dad said so.
It's fine. She's great. Didn't you hear him? He said she's a healthy. So, Capriati said one of her old coaches talked about her here, and he says how many around her just looked at her as a player. It was her only identity, and when her career stalled a little, he said he could see all the network around her just dissolve. He said everybody wanted to take credit when things were going well. When she had problems, people scattered. And I say, we coaches, parents, management groups, when I met her, she was the easiest, happiest kid I've ever known. She was carefree. After being on the tour for 3 years, I could see a change. So she gets out of rehab here, and I mean, what the fuck, man? She has to start. She's lost sponsors. Her career, she hasn't done anything in a while. Squandered. Yeah. But she's also like 18. So, I mean, most people haven't started shit by the time they're 18, and she's like had this whole, she's all washed up already. Can you imagine that? She doesn't even, I can barely remember when I was 18. And just imagine if you were just washed up and done from then on.
I was so useless at 18.
Useless.
So useless.
I was washed up from nothing. He's a washed up masturbator, I tell you. He's all washed up at it. He's been doing it for a few years now, and he's plumb tapped.
Me and Jennifer had the same elbow problem.
Yeah.
She had millions of dollars.
Yeah, I didn't get mine fixed.
And I had ruined socks.
Mine's still, and a sore elbow. And it's still sore. So she doesn't know what to do at this point. She goes back with her parents and doesn't know what to do. And she's just, she's wandering, and her parents, they're always setting her up with these coaches and with these people. And finally they feel like, okay, she needs more than just physical guidance of how to hit a tennis ball. She might need some something, some motivation, some emotional something, and they call in one very special person who can do it. And they come over one day, and it's my grandma with her own special motivation.
It's a good person that she needs.
It's perfect. And she says, Ma, how is it you come to arrive here? Ma, why? Ma, Stefano, what are you doing? Where are you from? Ma, chi cazzo fai? You bring the girl. Ma, you go to your room. No, come. Yes, but get the hell out of here. She's taking her shoe off. She's serious. Jennifer, run. Jennifer, I've been there. Run. Ma, you get the hell out of here. You grounded. You're grounded. Ma, you go. Ma, what the hell is wrong? Stefano, I smack you too. What the hell is wrong with you? Grandma, calm down. Grandma, Ma, no. Ma, Jimmy, let me tell you something. Ma, this girl, she's a nice girl. She come, she play, I don't know what sport, hit with the ball, the thing, I don't know what what the game. It doesn't, she have a money, she go out, she smoke this, she smoke that, she hang out with these boys. They're just because they are with it? No. Stefano, I'm very disappointed in you. You do this to my girl. I have to go. I'm too upset. And she starts crying and poof. In a poof of marinara sauce and ass whoopings, she's gone. And Grandma came in very upset.
Yeah.
Smacking people.
Angry. Did she smack her into shape?
Oh, she smacked Jennifer like 3 times. That was her. Yeah, I've seen her operate with my aunt who was a teenage girl, and that was pretty much what she'd do. She'd yell at her, smack a few times, tell her she's grounded, send her somewhere, yell at other people who had nothing to do with the shit. So that was my grandmother getting it on there, and I had to help. I had to jump in for
Certainly.
Jennifer. I've been there. So I was like, look, Jennifer, just run. This is not going to get better for you. So September of 1994, the Capriatis as a family unit moved to Rancho Mirage, California to try to rebuild, start over, career, lives, everything. She said, quote, I felt like nobody liked me as a person, what Capriati said. I felt like my parents and everybody else just thought that tennis was the way to make it in life. They thought it was good, but I thought no one knew or wanted to know the person who was left behind my tennis life. So, she's
20.
She's fucking 20, man. She's, what the fuck? What do you do here? And this is when she goes into a real dark time. Yeah. And later on, she talks about this was her worst mental period. She starts talking about after 91, she started crying after big losses. She'd cry incessantly. She couldn't get it out of her head. She said, quote, I started out okay, but at the end of the match, I couldn't wait to get off the court. Totally, mentally, I just lost it. And obviously it goes deeper than just one match. I was really not happy with myself or anything else. And that's when she was talking about, she's saying she felt ugly and fat and she wanted to kill herself. She said, quote, I know suicide is not the answer. I only have one go at this. Even if it's torturous, you have to stick it out. Maybe this is all a blessing. I'm still young. I still have time to figure all this out. She says, quote, I have a choice. And am I going to let this defeat me and make me not want to be here? Or am I going to do something to not let this break down and maybe help other people? That's the mission I'm on now, to find happiness and positiveness in the future. So that's good, because a lot of people going through this dark type of period wouldn't have that kind of grasp on it.
I'm very well aware.
And that's a lot of it also to the fact that she can get help.
Yeah.
And she's had help and she has money and can go seek out help.
That's the difference between me and her in that situation where I didn't have that.
A lot of 18-year-old girls.
You end up doing some dumb shit.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people do. So, it can happen to anybody. And she doesn't play in 94 at all. 95, she doesn't play in any of the majors. She doesn't do anything. 95, her parents divorce. Over the money's train has slowed down. Yeah. All of a sudden, Stefano's not looking so hot there as a father figure. So 1996, she comes back. Mildly at first, kind of gets her feet wet. She plays in the French Open and plays in the U.S. Open and is bounced in the first round in both of them. In 96, she finishes the year ranked 24th, just by her name, kind of thing. 97 comes around, same thing. This time she does the Australian Open and the U.S. Open and is bounced in the first round in both of them. So not wonderful at all. Now, June 19th, 1997, she goes to watch her brother Steven compete in the semifinals of the U.S. Tennis Association's Florida Junior Championships.
Oh.
This poor, he's a fucking pawn, too.
They got the little guy in it, too.
Yep. This is after she hurt her ankle and she said that she wasn't going to play in Wimbledon because of that. She sat and watched her brother compete, and basically everybody there was just like, which one's Jennifer Capriati's brother? Like, it was like Jennifer Capriati's brother's in this tournament. Yeah. Otherwise, who cares about a college tennis tournament, really? And she said, quote, Jennifer said, quote, "No one ever expected him to follow in my footsteps. Steven is definitely his own person and does things at his own pace." She says that there might be a few advantages to being in her shadow. Mm-hmm. She says, quote, "My father can learn from the mistakes I made and make my brother play perfect tennis."
There you go.
She didn't talk about in life. She talked about make him play perfect tennis.
Right.
She made it about tennis. He does end up losing in the semifinals, and he goes to the parking lot and doesn't want to talk to any people. Are trying to interview him. He's a college tennis player, and she was fucking kind of, you could tell by the way she said, she smugly enjoyed this.
Yeah.
She said, quote, "I don't think he's ever been interviewed by anyone. Well, at least not about himself." So, you know.
Now they want to talk to him about him for once.
For once. She made $196,806 in 96 and 97 combined. Finishes 97, number 66th. Is 66 in the world. 1998, she gets to the second round in Wimbledon, gets bounced out of the U.S. Open, drops out of the top 200 at one point finally.
Wow.
But rallies, wins some at the end of the year, and ends up being ranked 101 at the end of the year. But
almost.
This is first time she's been ranked out of the top 100.
That's brutal.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know, since the first week she was playing tennis. She makes $66,573, which is like a low-paid electrician.
Yeah, to be in the almost top 100 in the world.
That's 126th for money. 1999, she goes and wins some shit here. Now she starts doing some shit. She wins her first tournament in 6 years in Strasbourg, France. Wins that one in May 17th, 1999. Wins another in November of 99 in Quebec, and regains position in the top 20. And finally here. Yeah, it's amazing. She goes second round in Australian Open, fourth round in French Open, fourth round in U.S. Open, and second round in Wimbledon that year. Finishes the year at number 23, makes $243,937.
Now you're talking.
Now we're talking. In 2000, she plays in the Fed Cup finals again, and they win again. They beat Spain again that year. She played, and that was 91 when they beat Spain there. She plays a tournament in Luxembourg, wins that. So she's doing very well here for a comeback. And I mean, for 2000, she goes and she makes it to the semifinals in the Australian Open, fourth round of Wimbledon, U.S. Open, finishes the year ranked number 14th, $488,861. 2001 in here, we'll buzz through this real fucking quick here. She ends up winning the Australian Open.
Awesome.
Which is a huge fucking deal. And this is like this is the big deal. She beats Monica Seles in the semifinals. Wow. She beat the defending champion who beat her the year before, Lindsay Davenport. And then in the final, she beats Martina Hingis, who's a three-time champion there.
Yeah.
So, she beats like every demon that's plagued her. She might as well have beaten crack and heroin and that fucking one dude, and it would have been fine here. So, after the match, she was like, it looked like a 12-year-old won a tournament, basically. She was jumping around, running around uncontrollably. Sure. She was having a good time. She told them afterward, quote, "If you believe dreams do come true, I can't believe this is happening." She said it's amazing. She was just blown away by it. She couldn't do anything. Grace too.
Really?
Grace too.
This is it.
That was a huge cut. Yeah. She came back to be the best again.
Right.
I mean, to be a champion again. She said, she told him, quote, "The path I did take for a brief period of my life was not of reckless drug use and hurting others. Yes, I made mistakes by rebelling, by acting out in confused ways, but it was all due to the fact that I was very young and experiencing my adolescence. Most of you know how hard that can be. When you do it in front of the world, it's even harder. Yeah, I would fucking say so. At this point here, she's dating somebody. She's dating a player named Xavier Malisse, and her father is coaching her again, even though they didn't talk for 5 years.
Right.
Now her father's coaching her again. She said, quote, "He's been a tremendous force in my game. I have so much confidence in him. He has confidence in me. He's the best coach I've ever had." Yeah. So they've gone back to just sweep it right under the rug here. Yeah, people were going nuts for her, man. She said, quote, "I've stopped thinking about what the world is going to think of me." Because they said, are you okay with your image and shit like that now? And she says, "I don't care what I look like anymore."
Remember all that crack?
I don't give a shit. I smoke. Yeah. Crack will do that to you. So in 2001, she wins 2 Grand Slam fucking titles in 2001, which is goddamn amazing. Not too shabby. She wins the French Open and the Australian Open in 2001. Finishes number 2 in the world.
Unbelievable.
And also makes $2,268,624.
How about that for the top 1% having all of it?
Which is second in the world.
Right. Second in the world has $2 million. Number 101 has $60,000.
Yeah, that's it. She lost a bunch in 2001, 2, and 3 to the Williams sisters. Okay. She lost to Venus, lost 3 times to Serena. So she started getting smacked around by them a little bit. But she did beat Martina Hingis in another match too. At one point, the Federation Cup, they kick her off the team. She gets in an argument with Billie Jean King, who was the non-playing captain, kind of the fucking what's the word I'm looking for here? Matriarch, for lack of a better term, of the team. The problem is Capriati refused to cancel private coaching sessions with her father. And they said you can't have other coaching sessions. It's just here. Right. And she said no. And so they kicked her off the team.
You can just ignore everything they tell you and just listen to your dad. Just have the coaching session and shut the fuck up.
That's it. Monica Seles said, quote, "Jennifer should have approached the rest of the team if she wanted some help, but she didn't. It was very unfair." So apparently she's like pissed off. Billie Jean King said, quote, "Jennifer wanted to assert her independence and Stefano trying to assert his will. I stated the rules and they weren't adhered to. It was a lot more than once and it wasn't fair to the team." So it wasn't one thing. It was just she was constantly disobeying and whatever the fuck. So they kicked her off the goddamn team. But she says her relationship with her father is great, but everybody else says that he's doing it again, basically. But she finishes 2002 ranked number 3. 2002, she makes $2,217,939 fucking dollars. Jesus. Does very well. 2003, she makes $1,942,015, which is amazing to finish 4th on the money list there. So, goddamn it, she is crushing. Again, lost to Serena Williams a few times in 2002, once in Scottsdale.
Oh,
look at that. Beats Martina Hingis, does that, has some people there. Loses a tournament to Kim. Fuck, how do you say her name? I want to call her Clit Jesters, but I know that's not it.
That's probably it.
I know that's not it. That sounds like some crotch bug that you get. I got the Clit Jesters, man. They're just biting me down there.
It's probably Clitister.
It's sorry. There's it's Klidgesters. But I never know how to say her name, and I've seen her on there. Whatever, Klitgesters. Clit Jester beater, and so there. Now she finishes 2004 and ends up having a back injury that keeps bothering her. She finishes the year in number 10 in the world. She makes $1,290,061 and then retires.
Really?
At the age of 28.
How about that?
Done and done and done.
God, that'd be great.
Done. Total tennis earnings. This is not endorsements, which is way more than their earnings. $10,206,639
at 28 years old.
Not bad. Overall, she has 14 singles titles and 17 runner-ups, which is damn good too. She is 3-0 in Grand Slam finals. Yeah. She has 3 Grand Slam wins. She's a gold medalist. She's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
May of 2005, she appears on a TV show called Unique Whips.
What? Oh, Cars?
Which is like, it's kind of like Pimp My Ride, but not for poor people.
Okay.
It's Pimp My Ride for famous people, is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, we'll put shit in cars that you can already afford, but we're just going to do it anyway.
We're going to make this car better than you could have bought it.
It's super weird, but we can say celebrities on this show, so watch it. So she has a Range Rover that is apparently made a more unique whip here. She's also, in 2005, she's inducted into the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame.
Among 6 other people.
Hey, it's her. It's the ghost of Joe DiMaggio. Right. We got a bunch of ball players from the fucking ball players from the 50s and 60s. Fucking Dan Marino's over there.
A couple of linemen you've never heard of.
yeah. Every once in a while you get that. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. And so I want to be in the National. Induct me.
Right.
God damn it. I'm not playing a sport, but just for talking about sports, you know what? They induct sportscasters into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So why not? You know what? Let's start a campaign. National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. Induct me. I want in.
They got a couple of dudes that played stickball.
I want in. No basketball players at all. I guarantee you that. No. Bunch of 5'7" guys named Tony going, I don't know. I'm just not that good at it for some reason. I don't know. I want to play the game. It seems like a lot of good fun, but I just can't get up that high. I don't know. Does the rim have to be that high?
Right. Can we bring it down a bit?
What if we bring it down a little bit? I think it'd be better at the game. That's all I'm saying. All of us would be better.
Maybe a higher scoring game. More fun.
Yeah. She said in 2007, in a Daily News article, she talked about how she said she went through a little bit of a mental problem after stopping playing. She said, when I stopped playing, that's when all this came crumbling down. If I don't have tennis, who am I? What am I? Yeah. So that's identity. That's all she's ever done her whole life. And now it's like, no more.
I mean, that's every fucking sport. Yeah. Jen, get over it.
Yeah, but they weren't a pro at 13. Well, like this is, she had a racket in her hand since she was 3.
They didn't, a lot of guys that play sports, the majority don't make $10 million, Jen. So
yeah, that's true too.
Smile and shut the fuck up.
I get it though, but 13 pro is a different game than anybody else. That would burn you out so fast. 2009 of April, she appears in the ABC television reality series The Superstars. It is described as a revival of the 70s Battle of the Network Superstars or whatever it was. It airs here. She pairs with singer David Charvet. I don't fucking know. He played a lifeguard on Baywatch. This guy, that's her teammate. In the first episode, they did like shit, and they had to do a race off against another team to see who would be eliminated. And it was an obstacle course race against Lisa Leslie, the very tall basketball playing woman, and Dan Cortez.
Who the hell is that?
Dan Cortez. Remember the 90s?
Yeah.
Remember the entire 90s?
Yeah.
That's Dan Cortez. Remember MTV Sports?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I'm over here with my ski jacket on and shit, bro. Hey, Dan Cortez here. What's up, pal? Like, I'm cool guy. What's happening, bro?
He participated in that basketball game on MTV where
all the time. That was his rock and jock.
Yeah.
And he was on Seinfeld. He dated Elaine.
All right.
And messed up his face. Step off, George.
What an annoying man.
George. Yeah. Step off. And that's why the thing, he was totally annoying. Hey, Tony. Oh, Tony. That was his name on the show. Anyway, they ended up winning the race and didn't get eliminated, but she actually, at the end of the show, or before the next week, she said that she re-aggravated an injury from the first events, and then she's not going to be back. So that's that.
An old football injury.
My old trick knee from football. They talk about her apartment at this point. She has an apartment on Singer Island, place on Singer Island, which is this place in north of Miami that's very, very, very swanky,
exclusive.
It's by Palm Beach there.
Oh, okay.
It's over there. It's
it's that island stretch right there.
Yeah,
I know where it is.
Yeah, she has a big. She lives in a big block of apartments that's attached to a 5-star hotel that has a private beach and all that type of shit. Basically, it's where you go if you don't want anybody to bother you, type of deal. In 2010. She might have wanted to be bothered here before this happened. In 2010, she is rushed to the hospital and taken in by what her spokeswoman is calling a, quote, accidental overdose. Accidental.
Oh, yeah.
Overdose.
They're always accidental.
Of prescribed medication, which they will not reveal which medication it was that she accidentally overdosed on.
Heroin.
So, it's what.
Some goddamn painkillers.
I'd assume it's one.
It's got to be, right? Because she's got injuries.
Yeah, it's hard to accidentally Well, I mean, unless you're taking a lot to begin with, like if you usually take one, and then you're not going to take 20 one day just to fucking. But
also, if it's stuff that fucks up your mind, like painkillers are, and you just forget you took it, and then you take more.
If you have a bad tennis injury, and you have bad injuries, who knows with the painkillers?
She's probably one of those pillbillies.
We don't have any fucking idea. So, they would not identify it. She's rushed to the hospital on a Sunday morning. Capriati, she was found, and they wouldn't say who called emergency services. Nothing. They said all she would say is, quote, in response to an outpouring of concern and support shown by Jennifer's fans and friends worldwide, we would like to acknowledge that Jen is recuperating at a South Florida hospital from an accidental overdose of medication prescribed to Jen by her personal physician. Jen is recovering fully and stably. In other words, she's not nuts. Everything's fine. I
didn't even hear about this, Jeff.
That's what I mean. It went under the radar. Now, Venus and Serena Williams said they were very concerned. They said, Serena said, quote, I probably will definitely see how that goes and pray for everyone involved. I probably will definitely see how that goes. The fuck does that mean?
She didn't know what to say.
I'll probably definitely see if she dies or some shit. And if she does, I'm going to send flowers. I'll send them. I don't give a fuck. She was like, I don't care. I'm winning right now. So, she said, quote, if there's any way I can do anything to help reach out, I will definitely do that. Because she knows them and they're cool with her and shit. And Vina Williams said, quote, I remember,
Vina.
What'd I say? Venus?
Yeah.
Vina?
You
Venus.
said Vina.
Oh, because I was looking at Serena.
Right.
Venus, Serenus and Vina. Venus said, quote, I remember her match against Monica Seles in the semifinals of the French Open. I remember watching that and just thinking how great that tennis was. So definitely a lot of fond memories just watching her growing up and obviously even playing against her, respecting her game so much. Now, Kim Klitjester.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry.
Sounds like a comedy club.
Klitjesters. Ladies comedy. It's ladies night at Klitjesters. Yeah. It tickles.
Right.
No.
That's what they call the side room at the Hollywood Improv.
It's the tickler.
Yeah.
The Klitjester room. So, Klitjester posted on Twitter, quote, I haven't been able to stop thinking about Jen, ! I hope she makes it through okay and can get some help, ! So she just took it upon herself to out a drug problem that no one else that wasn't a public thing that they were obviously hiding.
If you were praying for her, maybe just call her. Don't tweet this shit.
I hope she makes it through okay, but can get some help means you knew that she's got a problem. I hope she gets help for her problem. That's what's circulating in circles that know her. That's what that means. Not a good tweet.
Right.
2012, she is inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. At the time, though, she was telling people that she was wrestling with personal issues and considered not accepting the invitation because she had anxiety about being in public. That's she doesn't even want to go in public at this point. She actually does. She gets out there and she accepts it. And she said, here's her speech, quote, it's been quite a journey. This is while she's crying and everything else. She says, this is so great for me because it's putting a lot of closure to my career and I'm able to move forward, give thanks, take thanks, give the honor and take the honor and just be acknowledged here. It means everything to me. So that's nice. She got her something together there. March of 2013. She's in a relationship with this guy named Ivan Brannan. Okay. He is kind of a douchebag. Is the best way to put him. He's like tries to get in reality shows and shit like that. He's
as Jen's boyfriend?
No, just as he's trying to be like, it's a long story, but never mind him. Let's talk about what happened quick here. He ends up saying that basically they had a 10-month relationship and then it ends in February of 2013. So over the course of the next month, apparently he says that she hounded him with phone calls and text messages, and the what he called stalking escalated to a Valentine's Day confrontation in which he accuses her of attacking him in the middle of a gym while he was working out.
Oh, my God.
Having a physical altercation with him while he was in the middle of lifting weights.
She couldn't find him, so she just showed up to the gym.
And came in screaming, yelling, and hitting him in the middle of the gym while he was working out. The police report says that, attacked him at the Oxygen Health and Fitness in North Palm Beach, Florida, punched him 4 times in the chest while he worked out, and then requisite slap slaps and scratches and grabs and shit like that.
Yeah.
A yoga instructor intervened in the altercation, which is the first time those words have ever been said. A yoga instructor broke up a fight.
Right.
And then Brannon ran and with her in hot pursuit and locked himself in the men's locker room and called the cops.
Unbelievable.
And called 911.
What a scene.
She took off in her car, and police were able to pull her over a few miles from the scene. She was interviewed and released by officers at first. Imagine if a guy... Okay.
Doesn't happen.
Let's flip this.
Yeah.
Imagine if a dude, a famous dude, went and found his wife in the gym and punched her 4 times in the chest while she worked out to the point where other people saw and intervened. She had to lock herself in a locker room to get away from him, called the cops. He was pulled over a while away. They would have fucking pulled him out with their guns drawn.
Absolutely.
There's no fucking way that they would go, well, there's 2 sides to every story. I guess we'll talk to you later on.
Lovers quarrel.
No, that ain't going on there. But apparently they let her go, but there's 4 days later, he ends up going to the police office and headquarters and kind of filing these actual charges. These are 7 other incidents pertaining to stalking, harassing, and following him. An attorney for her says that denies it all. She says, quote, unfortunately, false accusations against celebrities is an almost daily occurrence in this crazy world we live in. Jennifer Capriati is innocent of these charges, and we intend to vigorously defend her good name against this nonsense. They tried to make it out like he was some stalker that never knew her, and people make up shit like this. No, that's her boyfriend that they had a fight. That's not how that works.
A 10-month relationship. They've been around together.
Yeah, again, if a guy said that about it, would be like, oh, he's terrible. So anyway, we don't know what happens here. So, apparently, Ivan Brennan tried and failed in August of last year, of the year before this, to get a restraining order against her, but they wouldn't give him one. Despite, I guess he ended the relationship. This was in 2012, so this was a year before.
Right.
It's been going on for a year. Apparently, over a 2-week period in February, Capriati sent him 300 text messages.
Wow.
Which is too many.
That's a lot.
None were returned.
What the
300
shit?
Unanswered text messages fucking bombarded this guy.
If he doesn't write back, it's over, hon.
Yeah, the 300 times is too much.
Word.
This was leading up to the Valentine's Day confrontation. Apparently, he called the police at least 6 times on her in the past year before this. His coworkers said that told police that she came to the business one day and banged on the windows of the business with her fist and called that day more than 50 times the business. So
she's nuts.
There's some evidence that she's got some issues with a relationship here. She's gone off the deep end with this relationship a little bit. The Brannon guy also provides police with 7 other incident reports in which Capriati harassed or stalked him constantly after their breakup, is what he called it. He tried to get, like we said, August of 2012. He was denied a restraining order. Now, after all this goes on, her lawyer says, quote, there's no arrest warrant for Jennifer Capriati. The case is between Ms. Capriati and Mr. Ivan Brennan has not been assigned in Palm Beach County and not been reviewed. The current facts being circulated by Mr. Brannon are an over-exaggeration, and the police report is one-sided in Mr. Brannon's favor since they failed to get Ms. Capriati's side of the story. Well, that's because usually the way it works is if someone's a victim and they go to the cops, you get their side of the story. And then when you arrest the person, their side of the story is called a trial.
Right.
That's how that shit works. That's usually how it works.
Called their defense.
That's called a defense, is how shit like that works. But when assaults happen in front of witnesses, your side of the story comes later on. If nobody saw it, then maybe you get one side, you get the other. But if there's witnesses, we got the story.
It's under control.
It's under control. So they failed to get her. Now, her lawyer also said that she will be vindicated from these charges.
Oh, boy.
God damn it.
Oh, boy.
She didn't add the fuck at the end, the period.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. She's ordered to appear in court the next month and answer the allegations that she sent hundreds of text messages and punched her boyfriend. Her attorney again says it's nonsense and will, quote, of course enter a plea of not guilty. Her attorney sounds like a fucking asshole. Just a fucking dick. Like just an uppity, everything's so beneath me and her and Capriati. Fuck. Now, she did not respond for answers to questions, but she did address it on Twitter. She addresses her legal issue on Twitter, which is never smart.
She chose to give her argument via a tweet.
She says, quote, "All of this is absurd. I'm outraged by the media, by my ex, the false accusations, not being able to say the truth, Lyme disease, my injuries."
What?
Where Lyme disease came from, I have no fucking idea.
It's like a Trump tweet.
Oh, she's apparently outraged by, these are all the things she's outraged by. There's a list of them. The media, her ex, false accusations, not being able to say the truth, Lyme disease, and her injuries. She literally just listed stuff she's mad at that didn't all go together. Those things all don't go together.
That's amazing.
Your ex and Lyme disease, did he stab you with a tick? I don't know. Just let a thing of deer ticks loose in your house? I doubt it. But I appreciate a list, so that's fine. So, I mean, she's outraged. I mean, Jesus Christ. Everyone involved, if you're like her lawyer or her agents, these people, you got to be sick of this shit. She's got to be sick of this shit. I feel bad for, like I said, because psychologically she never really had a chance anyway.
It
and
really
then
fucked her whole life up.
It fucked her whole life up. And then this guy, and I mean, I feel bad for her, but not nearly. Not nearly as bad as I feel for Jennifer Capriati, an HR specialist at TD Waterhouse in Montreal, Canada. So doing investment services there. Jennifer Capriati, management staff at PT Sungguan Indojoya in Indonesia.
Yeah.
It's an apparel and fashion thing. Jennifer Capriati, finance help in New Delhi, India. And finally, Jennifer Capriati, warehouse keeper at Anthony Biotechnical Technique Limited in Croatia. So there's that.
People are going, hey, it's Jennifer Capriati from the tennis art. No. Shut up a minute. I'm almost there.
The Croatian warehouse worker. You know, that one. Much different life. What do you think the differences in life of a Croatian warehouse worker and a international tennis star are? A little different?
I'll bet their elbows hurt the same.
Probably. Same addictions.
Yeah. Her back and elbows are killing her,
too. They can share pills. Yeah. So, at this point, she sells her condo. For a special reason, though. She has to sell her condo because of her court case. She sells her condo at a loss of $600,000.
Wow.
On this condo here. It's a 19th floor apartment with sweeping views of the coast. It's a 2,800 square foot condo. It's the resort at Singer Island. She bought it for $1.67 million in 2007 and had to sell it for $1.08 million.
Unbelievable.
Not great here. She apparently she was in this thing here. She was a target of 10 police complaints for 2012.
Wow.
From her boyfriend, and then some from other people. One was she sped through the guard gate of the Singer Island condo building with her car. She broke through it. She fucking broke through the guard gate like Stallone and Over the Top going to fucking Robert Loggia's house, and in her Porsche Cayenne after the guard refused to let her in. They wouldn't let her in, so she fucking backed up and went through the gate.
Wow.
That's next level shit, brother.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Why? I wonder what the confusion was that they wouldn't let her in.
He was inside.
Oh.
And he said, don't let her in. I don't want to let her in.
Oh, the boyfriend was there.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was the thing. They were sharing. And he said, don't fucking let her in.
Right.
She's acting crazy. And the guard said, I agree. I concur. I'm not letting her in. I seen it. And she just backed up and fucking gunned it through the guard gate and went right through it. She blocked him from leaving his car, but then left after he called the cops. Whenever someone calls the cops, she takes off. She's like, oh, never mind. Cops caught up to her later on and ordered her to stay off the property because now he was living there too. And another time he accused her of calling the workplace, like we said. The one coworkers said the one day it was 50 times of banging on the window at one job. At another job at PGA Marina, she called over 100 times in a single day. And when she called, whoever answered, she would interrogate the coworker about him.
What the fuck?
So she would call and harass the not just can I talk to fucking Ivan? No, okay, and
what
call back 2 minutes later. She's like, well, what's Ivan doing? Have you seen him with girls? Is he doing this? Why? And they're like, I don't know you. Are you the tennis girl? Like, what the fuck is going on, dude? None of those incidents ended up leading to an arrest because they weren't specifically violent. Right. Now an ex-girlfriend of him of his pops up. This is a woman named Christine Corley, who was on season 2 of MasterChef, the Gordon Ramsay show, and she says that Brannon also called the cops on her, claiming she hit and stalked him. She says, quote, "He is doing it to Jennifer Capriati what he did to me. When I read the story about this, it made me feel like I'm not crazy." No, no one can, just because she did it too, just because he likes crazy chicks, doesn't fucking mean that makes you less crazy.
Or just because he encourages the crazy that's inside you. He probably finds the people that have
like
those
chaos.
little tricks.
Some people like chaos.
They just like to make them jealous and shit.
I know
so maybe
guys
he did that to her.
who look for crazy girls, and they like that.
Absolutely.
They like that shit, and I know vice versa. You look for girls, and they have this sixth sense to find these crazy dudes.
They like those crazy people because they like to encourage that crazy without them knowing that they're stirring it up.
They like to stir it up. It's a thing.
Because it shows them that they're important to them.
This woman then said, quote, "This man is just a master manipulator who goes from woman to woman to get some money or access to the best parties in town. He'd disappear for months at a time and come back when he needed more money. I have no doubt he is with Jennifer for her money, and when he is done with her, he tries to get rid of her by any means he can find, including by getting police involved. He accused me of several times of beating him, but no charges were ever filed because police knew it was not true." Then this woman tweeted at Jennifer Capriati and said, quote, "He did the same thing to me, what he did to you," in all capital, the what's in all capital letters for some reason. Capriati did not write back. Said, "Don't give a shit about you." January of 2014, the Florida state attorney announces that they will drop the charges of stalking and battery against her if she completes 30 hours of community service and an anger management course. So she agrees to that. She does anger management counseling, and they drop the stalking and battery charges against her. 2016-ish. The only thing you could find of her is every article that comes out with her is calling her a hermit and everything else, and calling her fat because she's gained a little bit of weight and whatever. And
she's always been a thick girl.
She's a thicker, she's a tennis player. She's so, and then when you stop running around and burning 8,000 calories a day, you might gain a little bit of weight. And who gives a fuck? Let her gain. Do you care what she does? She's fucking 40 years old. She wants to. Who cares? Let her fucking do what she wants. And they accuse her of being a hermit all the time. If every time I fucking left the house, everybody called me fat, I'd be a fucking hermit too. I wouldn't go anywhere. Like, I can't go outside. They keep calling me fat every time I leave. Jesus Christ. But she has some shit to say about one thing. Maria Sharapova failed a drug test.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Capriati lost her mind over this shit.
Brings it out, huh?
She said, well, apparently this was for a drug called meldonium, which is something that Sharapova admitted she's been taking since 2006. The substance was apparently at the time in 2016 just added to the list of banned substances by the World Anti-Doping Agency, and Sharapova said she didn't read the email with the updated list. She just figured it was fine. She said, according to her, she was taking the drug because of a variety of health concerns, and noted that the drug helped improve her conditions. Capriati was pissed off, and she was pissed off, saying that Sharapova's bullshit for saying she's innocent, and Sharapova should be stripped of all of her titles.
Wow.
She tweets, here's a series of tweets over a one-day period.
My word.
Here they are, because I'm going to bring them fast and heavy here. "I'm extremely angry and disappointed. I had to lose my career and never opted to cheat no matter what. I had to throw the towel in and suffer." Next tweet. "I have the high-priced team of doctors that found a way for me to cheat and get around the system and wait for science to catch up." She's saying that's what Sharapova said. Quote, "The responses are exactly what I'm talking about. Everything based on illusion and lie driven by the media over 20 years. Beyond unfair." Because she said that, and everybody goes, "Hey, shut the fuck up. Didn't you get arrested for drugs and have to go to rehab and fucking OD like 5 years ago? You're going to talk shit about drugs?" So she said the responses are exactly what I'm talking about. Everything based on an illusion and a lie driven by the media for 20 years. She says, then something is wrong with the whole system. The intentions of the system was never morally grounded to begin with. Then she says, "I just think it takes away from the sport and the hard work if true. Yes, it's hard to be kicked down when injured and out." And then she says, "Everybody's reading what's written and assuming it's true is wrong. It's just wrong. All of it, if not true. Nothing of what you read is true. You just said," okay. You just blasted a girl for what you read, and now you're saying if it's about you, it's not true if you read it. But if it's about her, it's true. She said, all the lies have robbed me of my life, and at some point, enough is enough, and a line must be drawn. You must fight back for pride and dignity. Then she says, what's the point of someone taking a heart medicine that helps your heart recover faster unless you have a heart condition? Is that accurate? Because that's what the drug was. And then she says, it's always about and one thing that benefits everyone, #money. And she says, the advantages are so subtle they can be a hair width difference. That gives you only what you need to reach that next level, which is true. The difference in players are a shot here and a shot there.
It's just close.
Yeah, so then she says sometimes it's all about what gives you the most confidence to win, which is what people say about steroids. She says, why is this medication banned now? Maybe I should start taking it, LOL. I might feel a lot better. If this medication helped me to come back again, would everyone be all right with me taking it? Then she says, how much did it take away from the other person's food plate? It's, taking their spot. Then she says, in my opinion of it's all very true, title should be stripped. This is other people's lives as well. So, yes. July of 2018, a Florida man is arrested after police say he steals the identities of celebrities and public figures.
What?
It's a guy named Michael Waters. He's charged with scamming personal information of nearly 24 public figures, including Jason Taylor of the Dolphins there, Zach Thomas, the old Dolphins linebacker, Joe Philbin, who he's in the Dolphins ownership group, I believe, and Regis's second cousin, and the Miami Dolphins team, all had their identity stolen by Waters. Also, the Backstreet Boys singer somebody and Jennifer Capriati.
Okay.
A Backstreet Boy, Capriati, and a bunch of Dolphins.
Why would he choose those people?
I don't. People, South Florida people, he can get their identities. He's arrested and charged with 22 counts of fraud for using identification of another person without consent. He's accused of writing and cashing fake checks from the celebrities and other people. His list, also other people on his list, Johnny Damon, Jonathan Papelbon, Barry Larkin, Scott Skiles when he coached the Magic, all big guys. Florida law enforcement guy says here, this is another clear case of identity theft, and it shows us no one is immune. Well, especially people with money. Yeah. He would use these checks to buy thousands of dollars worth of goods and then return them all for cash.
Of course.
So he'd run that scam basically here. The Backstreet Boys singer, Doro is his last name? Dorif? I don't know.
Don't look at me.
He's 44. He's not a boy.
No.
He said that he became suspicious that when he started to become suspicious when he had debt collectors calling his home. Yeah, that'll make you suspicious if you don't owe anybody money.
That raises flags and shit.
Super weird. Yeah. A bunch of people also, people that are local property, real estate guys, couple, just rich people from the area. And one guy who was a local property appraiser, guy named Marty Kayar, said, quote, I think he probably made a mistake. I'm definitely not in a league with those folks. He's like, I make like 61 grand a year. Like, you write checks on my shit. Like, it's gone pretty quick.
I notice it.
I got 14 grand in my savings account, so you don't really have a lot to write on here.
My car payment bounces when you steal my money.
Well, I'm saying. They wouldn't say how he obtained all the personal information, but he was being held in jail on $220,000 in bail, and can't get enough of Jennifer Capriati.
Wow.
Follow her on Twitter at Jen Capriati. She has 2,707 tweets. She follows 86 people, has 21.8 followers. I'm like almost reaching her. 21.8 thousand.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I have like 18 something. Let's get me past Capriati, everybody. What do you say? At Jimmy P is funny. And 579 likes of things, obviously. Her Twitter, whatever little message there under her picture bio is, quote, life is supposed to be beautiful. Spread it, live it, be it. Let's be kind to each other. Love heals all.
Spread life?
Spread life, spread love.
Oh, boy.
Spread everything.
Whatever you say.
That really sounds like some shit she got off a magnet on her fridge.
Yeah, that's some horny shit.
She put it on Twitter. Also, go to JenniferCapriatiTennis.com. The website looks like it is from her first year in tennis.
Great.
Maybe her dad makes websites too, because this looks like shit. Yeah. It looks terrible. Amazon.com. You can get her 1991 Sports Illustrated Kids Jennifer Capriati book for $4.50.
No,
that's not bad. SportsMemorabilia.com. Autographed Jennifer Capriati 8x10 color color photo, and it says, quote, Jesus Christ, quote, gorgeous and sexy player in capital letters on the ad for some reason of a chick playing. That's super weird. $64.99.
Is she too young to be called
No.
that?
She's in her 20s.
Right.
And she's kind of like lifting up her skirt, like kind of like looks like she's picking a ball out of her underwear, like type of thing. So, $64.99 with $25 shipping. And this week, code Memorial, free shipping. So there you go. Save $25. And also I found a signed tennis ball on there too, sports memorabilia, for $153.99.
That's steep.
Steep for
That's
a sign.
good one.
But I don't think she does much. I don't think she signs much. I don't think she gets out. I don't think she goes to like,
she's a hermit, James.
She's a hermit, apparently. Poor thing. Well, yeah, she's a hermit because God forbid if she comes out, the earth will shake with her immense size and weight that everybody keeps. She comes out and it's, if 6 tons going to shake, everyone just says boom, bada, boom, and you know how it goes. Stop calling her fat. Leave her alone. So that's Jennifer Capriati, and that is what not to do with your children.
My Christ.
That is how the exact way to not raise your children.
Truly, that's just what a banana story.
Fucking nuts, man.
From day one, her life, she had no chance.
Yeah, no chance. And she's had
to be
up and downs. And
all she wanted was just to be an individual, and her dad made her just be what everything else, what he wanted
it's tough.
to be.
Yeah. And it's one of those things we play asshole or idiot, and it's kind of neither and both. Yeah. It's like, kind of just feel bad for her a little bit.
That's some idiot shit because because her dad's an asshole.
And like we said a lot too. We have a it's a softer spot when we do women, because with a guy it's like you fucking jerk off. With a woman it's like I don't know what it's like to be 14 and having everybody call you fat. Like I don't know what that's got to be horrible. Yeah. So I don't know. But either way, if you like that story, you can tell us about it very easily. Go over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell the purple icon there is, and give us 5 stars. That helps a lot. And you can just say anything you want. Say you're following instructions, following directions, and also do that with if you listen on another platform.
Whatever platform. Yeah.
Do it there also. You can go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports t-shirts and mugs and bath mats and all sorts of cool shit. Pocket Robin shirts are up. Lots of cool stuff there. Also, more importantly, tickets to live shows. Like we said, they're filling up fast. The first ones are Tampa, Orlando, Cleveland, Columbus. Then we're in LA and San Diego. Those are like our first few. And then we go to Minneapolis and Omaha. But Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh are all sold out. And some of those are in October. So people are buying these things early. So if you want to get tickets, please buy your tickets early. We really don't want anybody being like, oh no, I didn't get my tickets, because that sucks. And we always feel bad. Yeah. And we can't make more tickets. So there's nothing we can do.
Magically appear. So the seats are, once they're sold, they're sold.
Yeah. Get your tickets. We really want to see you guys out there. Do all of that. You can follow us on social media very easily. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. You can do that. You want to get a hold of the show further, you can just email us, Crime and Sports. It's crimeandsports@gmail.com. We're right there. And if you want to be a hero, an absolute, just a wondrous, just one of the people that makes this show occur and happen, and the people who really, if you like the show, you should thank these people as much as we do, because they make it fucking happen. Our producers. If you want to be one of these people who we're going to talk about in a second, you can do that extremely easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports, or you can just head over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com, and we are just blown away by anything you guys do for us like that. So thank you for everything you do. Every penny really, really counts. So thank you so much. And you know what, man, without further adu, I think you should hit me with this like a steroided backhand that's 200 miles an hour back at you.
This week's executive producers are Gary Howard, Nilu Rafsanjani up in San Francisco. Happy birthday. Ann Pascucci. It's a last name. It's an Italian one, and I'm not good at it. I'm sorry. Griff Tugnut, Justin Miller, Clay Thorson, and Gonzo the Pug. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Rachel Cascaden, Travis Riggs, Heather Campbell, Thomas Smith, Jen Lamb. Sorry, Jen. Jesus. Jen Lamb, Brighton, Christensen, Charmaine Valley. She donated twice, both ways, like the Patreon and through PayPal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Jeff Hansen,
Eiffel Towered us.
Jesus, good Lord, that was a horrible. Jeff Hansen, Jason Fuller, Lisa Jaws, happy birthday. And her daughter said she's a panhandling bitch.
Yeah, well, so, right on.
Thank you, Lisa, and happy birthday. Kira Bai, Jerron Berkheimer, happy birthday. No, it's not a happy birthday. It's just Jaron. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry. Jessica McDonald, Andrew Wellman, and his wife, Susan Lackey Wellman. Happy birthday. That one was the one where I was supposed to hit that. Jonathan Stekety or Steekty. Stekety, that's the guy. John Nagel, Ashley Vio, Joe Gilligan, Elizabeth Thompson, Melissa Green, Erica Barlin or Backlin. I can't tell if that's a K or an R because I'm terrible at this. Chris Voss, Michael Ayers, Shauna with no last name, Kaylee Kitsch or Kirsch, that's what that is. Eric Langenecker, Eric Langenecker, Chris G, Callie Shinkunis, Thomas Spade, Sarah Lizowski, Jordan Bennett, Liz Vasquez, Chris Kirby, Jessica McDonald, Paul Ruest, Samantha Kress. I forgot Paul's goddamn company name.
Oh, no.
Fuck. It's something about views.
We suck so
I'm
bad.
the worst. Butterman Simpson, Annie Kika, Anthony Canella, Rachel Stora, Marie with no last name, Jessica Nottingham or Nottingham.
We'll take it.
Depending on where she's at. Robert Spencer.
It's a British town. It's going to be Nottingham.
Antonio. I don't know how that's pronounced. Matthew Ray. Haley Ellis. Carol Braun. Jessica Sturgis. Joanne Ahern. Amy Ellis. Amanda Berry. Allison Morris. Martina Liwalonga. The one that says
Martina. Yeah, we love Martina. Thanks, Martina.
Stephanie Butenhoff. Yes. David Wittis, Daniel Smith, Pam with no last name, Amy Sendejas, Penn Basingthwaite, Yep. Caroline Devine, Cece Clausen, Shirley Wellington, Jessica Johnson, Lauren Demarath, Kara Clymer, Melissa Lynn, Kelly Higby, Demetra Orfanos.
Hey.
I think.
Okay.
Janet Castle, Casey Tompton, Mike McNerlin, Aaron Gerber, Amanda Berrigan, Pat Longacre. It's Longacre, right? It's got to be. I don't know.
You went two very different directions.
I'm doing my best. Rebecca Lemmer, Bourbon the Doberman, Seth Douglas, David Albert or Albury. That's what that is. Charmaine Hankey, Caitlin Ahrens, Hannah with no last name, Janice Hill, Lisa Stevens, and Kay with no last name. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you, amazing, fantastical, wonderful.
You really come through.
Awesome
so
people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, really. We fucking appreciate the hell out of everything you do for us. And, we're trying to give you, there's a lot of crazy stories coming up, by the way. Program note for anyone who's still listening, program note, we will be taking, 2 weeks from now, we're taking it off.
Got it.
It's the week whenever June 12th is.
Yeah.
That's my birthday. I think the 11th is the Tuesday.
Just for this show?
No show for Small Town. No show for Crime and Sports. There will be a Small Town Murder that week, but no Crime and Sports that week. And that's good for us because we can refresh our batteries. And if you notice, whenever there's a week off, the next couple months of shows are fucking...
They're great.
They're smoking because we are refreshed and we don't hate the show.
Right.
And we're not tired of it. So that helps a lot. What if people wanted to tell you that they were tired of you, Jimmy? How could they do it?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and Facebook. I gotta check it again. It gets full, then like the fake accounts drop out, then I can bring more people in. So that's where I'm at. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Look for me that way. That way you don't have to spell it, because why embarrass yourself? Okay. You can't spell Capriati, you can't spell Petrogallo either, so don't worry about that. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us again. And you know what? We're not going to stop.
No.
We have a lot of crazy crime, and a lot of people where you're like, what about this famous guy? They're all coming, man. They're all coming. But for now, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder. Follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.